Hello and welcome to Jack McLaughlin Oval for the NewFM Grand Final for 2016. Great to have your company on the 28th of August. Big clash just about to unfold in front of us. Wallsend taking on Bell Swans. Bell Swans finished in second place on the NewFM ladder. 44 points, 14 wins, 2 draws and 4 losses. Wallsend, on the other hand, they finished fourth. 37 points with 12 wins, 1 draw and 7 losses. So 2 good seasons from these two sides. The minor premiers Lakes, they're out. They were knocked out by Wallsend last weekend, 1-0. Big win there by Wallsend over at Macquarie Field, a 1-0 win. Joining me in commentary, Chris Turner and Damien Smith. And boys, have you recovered from last night yet?
Oh, well, it was fun, wasn't it? Great atmosphere. To be honest, I'm still buzzing from last night, Smudge.
Yeah, it was an awesome night last night. I'm just saying I'm still buzzing, but I'm looking forward to today's game. This is the first time I've seen the First Division play this year. There's a lot of old faces out there we recognise, don't we, TC? And looking forward to this challenge.
What's your tip?
Look, I'm going to go out on a limb real early. I haven't seen either team play, but just going on the faces that I know in the Wallsend side, I find it hard to go past them. But again, like you, Smudge, I haven't seen either team play this year, but just knowing what they've got in there. But Bell Swans have obviously got a great side because they've got themselves straight into the grand final. They've been contesting all year, and I know you got some stats on that, Bart. But I'm expecting a close game. I've spoken to both coaches before the game, and they've both said they think it'll be even. I understand they've beaten each other during the regular season, so 2-1 for each of those games. I understand.
The interesting thing to say on that, CT, is that Wallsend's win when they beat Bell Swans 3-1 in round 11. That got overturned to a 3-0 win to Bell Swans because of a player ineligibility or something like that. That's a word that gets me, but I'm pretty sure it's got to do with that or the player point system or something like that.
So. You know what? Today I don't reckon any of that's going to really matter. It's going to be straight. It's grand final time again. There's a good crowd in. Beautiful day. The pitch is in fantastic conditions. Had games on it yesterday and it's had games on today. So typical grand final. We were saying last night, Smudge, how much we love finals time, and this is what it's all about.
I agree. Love finals time. And just on that, obviously you'll sort of tip Wallsend for that. I'm going to go for Bell Swans today. I know there's quite a few experienced players for Wallsend out there. They're going to be very hard to beat Wallsend. However, I'm going for the youthful Bell Swans to get up today.
And they did win the grand final last year, Wallsend 1-0. They beat Valentine, who got promoted with the minor premiership. Just about to get underway. And it's Bell Swans to kick us off from left to right of screen in their predominantly bright yellow kit. Wallsend will be running right to left in their predominantly red kit, as we know Wallsend are wearing. And over onto that far side was Josh Sutton, I think, almost cleaned up with a high foot and an early free kick to Bell Swans.
Yeah, and that was a high follow through from Kyle McArig, who's a former Lake Macquarie player, Smudge, and I know he gets pumped up for these games. I know him personally. I've known him for quite a number of years now, and he'll be absolutely pumped to get his team up and revving for a game like this.
Yeah, Wallsend's got Cameron Tapp out today. He got either sent off with yellow cards. I think sent off last week for 2 yellow cards. So he's a big loss for Wallsend today. They David Hodson said he's had a great back half of the season for Wallsend. So, he's a loss for Wallsend today.
Dave Hodgson, of course, the player coach for Wallsend. He's won all 3 previous NewFM grand finals that he's played in, so an impressive record there. Played for Hamilton Olympic and the NPL a few years ago. Pretty sure it was Valentine as well. There's another club in there, Damien, as well, that he played for.
Yeah, he won the GF with Olympic. He beat Azuri back in the early Benny Lane days in 2002. But he's lost 2 GFs for the NPL, and one was against Magic when I was coaching the 4-1 win over Olympic back in 2012.
Yeah, I mean, we'll obviously get to Hodjo a bit during the afternoon because we know him well, and he's a quality footballer. But I did have a chat to him on Friday, and he was saying, he really doesn't really know how to lose in these games. He does want to know about it. It's all about victory.
Here's Sutton taking on the Wallsend defence and coming across and doing well defensively. Mitch Cook just putting it over the sideline on the far side. Bell Swans with an early attacking chance.
Just on Josh Sutton, Brad Paul said to me during the week that he's an exciting machine. He's a great ball runner and has the ability to break the game open, like he did just then.
Yeah, I just went and had a quick conversation with Brad as well, and he said exactly the same thing. I said, who's the players to watch? And he's picked him out as a player. He pretty much said that. He said he can open the game up, and it's great to have players like that in your side because they create lots of opportunities for you.
Here's Shearer now. Sees the ball from Schultz. He goes low. Very calm on the ball was Wheeler.
Wallsend sitting very deep here.
They are early on. It sits back up to Sutton. I should say Jamie Hadlow, who gets dispossessed by Mitch Cook.
Well, Jamie Hadlow's another player that's familiar to me, but he had some time at Lake Macquarie. He can score goals. He's very quick. His change of pace is fantastic, and he's got a great touch. And look, he does know where the goals are, so it's no wonder they're in good position, in this time of the year to be playing grand final because obviously, as you say, Smudge, you're going for them without any good reason other than me going for the Wallsend side, but they've obviously got some good players. You can see some quality in the teams already.
I also like the Canary Yellow too, TC, on the Bells one side. But yeah, Jamie Hadlow played for Adamstown in the NPL, so he's a quality player.
Yeah.
They didn't lose too many at the start of the season, Wallsend, of their opening 8 matches. They lost just the one. Then they went through a 3-match losing run, which was actually punctuated by a couple of defeats, which I believe were due to that player point system issue that they had. A 3-0 loss to Bell Swans, which they actually won 3-1, and then a 3-0 loss to Toronto. So they've probably had more losses, Walls, and their position on the table is probably not evident of where they have finished on the ladder based on those player points issues. So 4th place, probably better than 4th place on the ladder. There's Jamie Hadlow, but as you know, if you do something illegal, you're going to get punished for it, and they have on this occasion, but they've been good enough to make it to grand final days. Ball put through by Milton, who scored the winning goal in the grand final last year against Valentine. Davies now. Still with Tim Davies, whipping it in. It's flicked on towards the back post.
Timmy Davies is another good young player for... Yeah, a good young player for Wallsend. Played at Broadmeadow with me quite a few years ago. His father, Tom Davies, he coached in the 19s Magic as well. So really lovely family. But Timmy's he'll have a big game today.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Tim Davies for quite a few years now.
Yeah, me too.
He's looking like he's very fit, and he's certainly filled out a little bit in terms of his physique, muscle, whatever. And he looks very fit, doesn't he?
And he's always been a very good technical player.
Sure has.
Sometimes his size in the NPL was probably, I wouldn't say an issue, but he wasn't very slight. But look, he's filled out. But he's a very technical, very good player, very good on the ball, good passer on the ball, and he's tough.
Yeah, and he completes his passes. What I remember him really well, he gets the passes where they've got to go often, and he is a good player, and he's a great guy too.
Free kick from the indiscretion taken by Wallsend. Down the ground, almost finding Chris Gazzard, but run away to Bell Swans on the far side. Jared Noon on the ball.
One of the other reasons why I've picked Bell Swans, I know it's early days, is this is a very big pitch. A very big pitch, right? And it's warm as well. So the old legs in the Wallsend will be interesting to see how they cope with the big pitch and the heat today. Because the youthful Bell Swans, if they can move the ball around, get the old fellas running a bit, they might tie in the back end of the game.
So now you're really kicking Bell Swans home, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Here's Shearer, bringing it wide towards Hadlow.
You want $1 on it? $1 American dollar.
Luke Jennings with the grab there. I actually do somewhat agree with that comment about the big pitch and the fatiguing old side. I know I seem to side.
Do we actually need TC here? This happened yesterday.
Hey, I don't disagree with that. And to be honest, at a glance over the park, you can see they are very mobile, and it's going to definitely work in their favour. We saw yesterday the players, when there was a break in play, Edgeworth and Maitland, that they both came over to the sidelines to get a drink, and it's not often you see that through our winter competition, but that was just a reflection of the heat of the day. So, and it doesn't seem any cooler today than what it was yesterday.
This is dangerous. Chris Gazzard with the long throw. Look at that throw.
Towards Dave Hodson, and headed on at Bell Swans. Clear it away.
Yeah,
We've got a free kick going Bell Swans' way.
Sorry, Bart. But Chris Gazzard with the long throws, very dangerous in the NPL days. He's a very good player technically on the ball, but he could cause a real damage, especially with Dave Hodson in and around the box, which is one of his strengths as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been known for that for years. Everyone knows it. Everyone, you got to combat it.
And Chris Gazzard, 6 sides that have played in the NPL, as we see. This ball put in towards the middle. Well defended at the back there by Wallsend. But those sides for Chris Gaz, I'd say he's played at Highfields Missouri, which are now Charlestown City Blues, South Cardiff, Valentine, Olympic, Edgeworth and Maitland. Whether they were actually in the top flight when he played for them, I'm not 100% sure. Maitland could be. I'm not 100% sure whether he...
No, he had a great career in the NPL, Chris Gazard, yeah. I remember coaching many years ago. I was actually chasing him, trying to get him over to Broadmeadow. But I think he stayed with his mates at Missouri.
There's Gazard with the throw again to Hodgson. Whipped in towards Milton. Milton turning and getting across and doing very, very well was Fletcher Price. He actually went over to Europe with Isaac Reeves. He was there a few weeks ago with Fletcher Price. He's on the bench for Wallsend this afternoon, so we'll get to see him most likely in the second half.
Well, I do remember Chris Gazard starting... Sorry.
I was just going to say Josh Hall going down and Belsons with the free kick.
Yeah, but Chris Gazard started... I remember him as a 16-year-old, and he was playing for Wallsend, playing first grade in the State League, in the top flight back then, and he's now, I was just talking to his dad before the game, he's now 35.
He played his first game for Wallsend at age 6, and he played his first grade game at 16.
Right.
So playing his juniors, played his first game at 6, as into the middle towards Hadlow.
And just out of interest, Bart, I actually was playing in that game when he came on, so
When
I
he
do
was
remember.
16.
I sure do, I remember it.
There you go.
He was playing for Wallsend and he was in that side.
And what did you think of him at that time?
How can you bring a baby on, Coach? How can you bring a baby on? But he absolutely smashed it. He was you could see he was ready for it straight away.
And about 19 years later, as this is swung in, almost flapped away by Jennings. He didn't quite get a touch. And
Yeah, Bart.
by McCory. Oh, almost got us up here in the commentary box. What do you guys think of the player coach? The player coach system. I was speaking to someone yesterday. They said they don't think it works. Do you think it works?
I did it my first year of Magic. I was player coach. I think it was about 27, 28. I found it quite difficult. I actually really enjoyed playing, but the thing is, when I started coaching, I actually loved the coaching aspect of it. And the committee virtually told me, because I wasn't playing that well, to take up coaching the following year. So, I didn't mind it the first year, but it is difficult.
Yeah, look, personally for me too, I've never had to do it, so that's been good. But I kind of like the thought, if you're coaching, you can get a better perspective of what's going on when you can see the overall without having, being out in the park and missing some of it, perhaps. I don't know.
That was the point I was thinking of. You don't get to see everything when you're on the ground. Here's a shot that straight to Luke Jennings.
Yeah, exactly. But also at training, it's hard at training because you still need to train as well and keep your sharpness about you, keep your fitness going. Obviously, you need to rely on a very good assistant, and I did at the time in Ian Milne. However, it is difficult.
Yeah, and in this case with Dave Hodgson.
Matt Ellis goes over the top to Hadlow. Ellis flying through in the middle. He's playing it back to Josh Hall, but well intercepted at the back by Wallsend and Tim Davies.
Just on Belsons at the moment. They're getting themselves in really good positions, but just that final ball in that front third is just... Yeah, just that final ball, it's just not connecting at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, but in this situation with Wallsend, they lost their coach. I think, how many weeks ago was it, Smudge?
I think Hodjo came in round 12.
Round 12. And, that's kind of, wasn't the intention. So they've got him, doing that job by default, really. I mean, if you're going to have someone in your group, he's probably the perfect person to make that happen. He's well respected by, his players, his teammates, and, obviously he's done a great job in here. But it's not, for me personally, it's not the ideal situation. But if you're going to have someone do it, Hodjo's a good choice.
Oh, I totally agree, TC. Totally agree.
Speaking before of Chris Gazard, he scored in Wallsend's win against Bell Swans. As we mentioned, it was overturned, but they won 3-1. Gazard, Macarig and Tiga Marcus, as we see a break here from Bell Swans. Stepping and running and shooting, and Jennings with a good save there. It was Jamie Hadlow again. He's been causing some problems early on for the Wallsend defence.
He probably could have taken a touch further forward and slid it, but it was perfect height for the goalkeeper. But, well played by Bell Swans.
Yeah, and Luke Jennings, he put himself in good position there. I like the way he shaped up with his arms and got himself flexed ready to go, and he reacted very well to that shot. So great save there.
Fletcher Price scored the goal for Wallsend on that occasion when they went down 3-1 in round 11. In round 22, Bell Swans won 2-1. Joel Shearer and Joel Nicholson, who's not playing this afternoon, Joel Nicholson. And Wallsend won with Jake Capriotis with the goal at Blacksmith's Oval.
What I'm liking about Bell Swans as well, they're playing a little bit more direct because they've got the pace. They're trying to get in behind, especially Mitchell Cook and Heath Capriatis. And they've got in a few times in behind, so... What are you laughing at, TC?
Just how early in
am
the
I
game
am I being biased? Am I
kicking them home? Yeah.
No,
no
Hodjo
bias
would
there
kill
at
me
all.
if I was kicking someone home.
There's Gazzard. He goes to that man, Dave Hodgson. Stepping around. Going on these sides, the sides they beat last week. So Bell Swans, they finished second. They beat Cohiba 1-0 at Blacksmith's Oval last week after a 1-1 draw in the first leg at Cohiba Oval against third place Cohiba. And then Wallsend, they did the giant killing job. They beat Lake Macquarie 1-0 at Macquarie Field after having a 1-1 draw at the Gardens in the first leg. It remains to be seen whether the Gardens will be available for Wallsend next year and the coming years, with the greyhound industry being shut down after July the 1st next year. So
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
But just on Wallsend result against Lake Macquarie has been the pinnacle side all year with 52 points, and Bell Swans a further 8 points behind them. So that's a great result for Wallsend last week, or the last 2 weeks, to knock off Lake Macquarie. And talking to David Hodgson during the week, he's quietly confident today.
Yeah, Bell Swans have won 2 first grade grand finals. So that's first grade as in what the NPL is at the moment. Back in 1970 and 1986, their last 2. They won the minor premiership in 85. I know Damien's got something to say about that. For Wallsend, they've won 4 major and 4 minor premierships. They did the double in 1900, 1903 and 1918, and just won the major in 1917 and the minor in 1923. So a very, very, very long time since Wallsend played in a grand final in the top grade.
Yeah, 30 years ago, and I was actually talking to my great-uncle Greg Smith during the week and about that game 30 years ago. He was hoping to be here today, but unfortunately he had an event down in Sydney. But there are quite a lot of the old boys here who played in that grand final, and they beat West Wallsend. And some of the players included Dave Connor, Peter Windsor, Dale Robinson, Nev Powell, Graham Hills, some of the old legends of Newcastle football.
Here's Tim Davies on the ball now for Wallsend. Goes up the line. Little shove over the sideline. Wallsend with the free kick. A referee this afternoon, Stephen Laurie.
Yeah, Stephen Laurie's a maths teacher. He's a high school maths teacher, and he's actually refereeing the Newcastle Jets versus Fiji under-20s. Sorry, Newcastle Jets youth versus Fiji under-20s next week. And he said his favourite colour is Pascal blue.
There you go. What colour? What does Pascal add to blue?
Well, it's either that or pink. So,
well, the other interesting fact about him is that his fantasy car is a Mustang. So maybe it's a pastel blue Mustang.
Maybe.
There you go. I'm not up on my art terms. I'm not sure what the word Pascal actually means. So,
Pastel.
Pastel.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So he's got the headpiece on TV.
Yeah.
My art skills let me down a lot. So this ball comes in towards Dave Hodgson. I did fail art, I think, probably. No, maybe not. Here's Davies. Going back to Mitch Cook.
Mitchell Cook's been another standout NPL player over the years as well, along with Paul Wheeler in the centre of the park for Wallsend.
Milton now on the ball. He turns it over. Bell Swans down this near side of the ground.
Yeah, I think Wallsend will rely on their experience today to get him over the line.
Yeah, sure. Well, and you're right about Cookie. He's been a great player in the NPL for a lot of years, and the matchup between him and Hadlow is going to be interesting because if Mitchell Cook has still got some pace about him, it's going to be a lot easier because Jamie's got plenty to burn. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out through the afternoon. No doubt Cookie will be using experience, maybe give Hadlow a yard or two, a couple of metres, just to give himself a bit of start so he can read in advance what's going to happen.
Dave Hodgson down in the corner now. Corey Wilson applying the pressure, as did Fletcher Price. And over for a goal kick for Nick Popple in goals for Bell Swans.
Just on Wallsend, where Dave Hodgson does his work, he's in and around the box. He's drifting a little bit wide there. I'd probably, if I was Dave, I'd just probably stay more central, get all the other guys working around him. He needs the ball played in to his feet in the box. That's where he's dangerous, rather than going out wide.
Is there any reason why he wears 99?
It's his age.
Or weight.
Here is Matt Ellis on the near side. Goes back to Shearer. Sends him off down this near side.
But just on Dave Hodgson, he's been one of the premier strikers in the NPL for a number of years. So obviously he went to Wallsend last year to try and get Wallsend up to the NPL. They did win the grand final last year. They had a great season, and obviously they're in the grand final this year. So full credit to Dave Hodgson, and he's like a Newcastle icon.
Yeah, he sure is. He's a lot, a lot like my cousin last night, Smudge. A real hustler, a bustler. Same sort of thing that Kane Goodchild does is he makes himself really a menace.
Here's a ball through for Wallsend for number 10, Jake Kepriotis, but it trickles to Nick Popple. Just couldn't get on the end of it. Dave Hodgson was coming through the middle.
And Hodgson has been that sort of player over a lot of years in the NPL where he's just been one to get the game going, hasn't he? He really stirs them up.
Here goes Trent Milton. Now, there's no one in the middle for him, actually. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I think Hodgson was trying to call him to come back, but obviously he didn't hear the call.
What you were saying before about, you don't prefer not to see him in wide areas. With Hodjo, you'd like him to sort of stay in that 6 yard to 6 yard as much as he can. If you're drawing a line from each end of the park in that 6 yard sort of space of the park, and then probably no further than the 18 yard line, because you want to conserve as much energy as you can for a player like that, because at the back end of the game you're going to need him.
Yeah, exactly right. It's been a pretty even start.
No fantastic opportunities early on.
Bell Swans probably got in a few more dangerous situations and areas than Wallsend at the moment, but Wallsend's weathered the storm and they're sort of starting to slowly get on top a little bit at the moment, but very tight.
Goes back now to Fletcher Price, who's played at South Cardiff. And first
great
year
ball.
at Bell Swans. Here's Shearer now. Got Matt Ellis on his near side. We had to track that one down. Played back into the middle. Hadlow is waiting, and it's over for a corner kick. So some pressure for Bell Swans now.
Yeah, that was well played by, good link-up play by Bell Swans. Joel Shearer's another one who's played NPL for a number of years, has been a very solid player in the NPL.
Joel Shearer going across to take the corner kick, I should say. Goes short. Playing it into legs. There was Tim Schultz and over for another corner.
Just on Tim Schultz, talking to Shane Paul just before the game. His dad coaches, Brad Paul coaches Bell Swans. Shane Paul's calling Tim Schultz his clone. He thinks he plays exactly like him and is as good as player as him. So, he's his stance is and they run very similar as well. So,
Shearer towards the near post and headed away. Will Shane Paul be playing in the grand final next week? He's been mysteriously absent the last 2 weeks. I've just heard that he's been away, but I wasn't sure why he was away. Do you know that, Damien?
Yeah, unfortunately for him, or fortunately, he's had his best mate buck show was 2 weeks ago, and last night was his brother's buck show, and his brother's a fly in, fly out, and it's the only time they could have his buck show. So Brad was on the buck show obviously last night as well in Sydney.
There's Gazard towards the back post. Wilson with the header away. Coming through was Kipriotis, and now Schultz. So the Shane Paul clone on his way down the middle of the park. And now Schultz again gets the ball.
Well played by Bell Swans.
Got cleaned up after he played that ball to Josh Sutton, and then the ball wide for Ellis. He couldn't get on the end of it. Now Luke Jennings with the ball. Interesting story about him. Trialled with Chievo Verona in the Serie A for 4 months and met Iker Casillas while he was there. So good story for the 22-year-old. He played for Port Macquarie United and Maitland as well. So pretty sure he played at Maitland last year from memory. My memory serves me correctly in the 22s competition in the NPL. It's over to Gazard now. Towards the back post. Davies is there, and Nick Popple is too. Jumps up and grabs it. But going on the results we've had during the season with these two sides, you sense this is going to be a tight one.
Yeah, definitely. I know I've spoken to both coaches. I know in the last game of the season, I know both teams rested players because it was a null event really, because both had made the semi-finals and it wasn't going to change their place in the semi-finals. So yeah, it's going to be very tight. And both coaches said it's going to be very tight. And but both were quietly confident going into the game.
As Cook goes to Davies, who's gone more centrally, hasn't he, Tim Davies there? Trent Richards on this, playing at left back. And Tim Davies towards the middle. So interesting little move there from Wallsend as Gazzard turns and goes back to Wheeler.
Well, Tim Davies is certainly capable of playing in the middle of the park. There's absolutely no doubt about that. As Damien mentioned before, his technique is very, very good. Technically, he's very strong. He reads the game well, and he's just drifted back out on the left side. Interesting to see whether he comes back in as Bell Swans are on the attack.
Some space in the midfield for Bell Swans there. The ball just behind Ellis. He had to go back and recover. Stepping through the middle of the park is Schultz, and Wheeler takes it off him. Cook.
I like the way Bell Swans are set up defensively. Their backline's actually a lot higher than where Wallsend's backline. Wallsend's backline's very deep at the moment, which opens up the midfield. So, but Bell Swans' backline is pushing up, compacting the space, and making it difficult for Wallsend.
Hall turns it over to Hadlow, who plays it straight into the legs of Schultz. It's right under it, looking for Sutton on the far side. And cleared long towards Hodgson. Gee, that was a good touch from Dave Hodgson. He plays it to Milton. Individual goal from him last year against Valentine. He can turn a game in a split second. Can Trent Milton. He's played for Wallsend for 10 years. And is Hodgson going to get a yellow card? He is.
And you can see how well known he is from the sound of that roar from the crowd there. Bell Swans faithful are absolutely loving it up there on the hill. And they'll give it to Hodjo all afternoon.
But he thrives on that. That's when he comes into it. He absolutely thrives on that.
You're spot on, because the more they ruffle him, the more he'll get into it. He will actually have enjoyed that, and you might give him a little wave and a smile.
We were talking about Graham Law yesterday, the NPL semi-finals. Do you think Wallsend was a chance of a side he could have coached for next season?
Unsure. Yeah, I know Cookshill chased him. We were talking to him yesterday, weren't we, TC? And Cookshill chased him, and he's very excited to go to Cookshill next year.
Yeah, he's pumped. He's very, very keen, in fact.
Because I heard Cookshill earlier in the season, they weren't actually going to apply for an NPL licence, but I think that has now changed. But early on they weren't going to, so that's why I was surprised with his decision to go there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the story is with Wallsend and their coaching for next year. I honestly haven't come across that one, so...
So we'll wait and see. Well, the blue track, which is the home ground, the blue track or the Newcastle Athletics field, is where Cookshill play their home games. That is getting redeveloped by the state government. I'm not 100% sure when, but if they redevelop it anything like South Melbourne's home ground, it'll be an impressive facility, and the field will be very, very impressive as well.
Well, if anyone, people that have been there would know this, but the Smudge, I'm not sure if you've been there or not, but the new dressing sheds and the canteen area, absolutely immaculate. They've done it. It's a terrific job and a great setup over there. And if they get the ground sorted out as well, with fencing and whatever they've got to do, it'll be a great facility and right in the middle of town.
Gazzard with the throw. Maybe in a couple of years' time we could be there for matches of the round in the NPL.
This is where Bell Swans, they could break nice and early here. Unfortunately, it was turned over.
Plays it through for Gazzard. It's sort of a look to the future as well for the NPL, seeing a few of these young players coming through and potentially with the licences up in the air as Gazzard is fouled and Wallsend with the free kick. We could be seeing a few or a lot of these players playing NPL next year if their clubs are given the licences. We know Blacksmith's Oval seems to fit the bill. Valentine have played there this season on a number of occasions, and I'd be very surprised if the Gardens didn't fit the bill in terms of stadium requirements for Wallsenders. There's the header from Cook, straight to Popple, but I know finances and all that sort of stuff comes into the equation as well for these clubs. And
yeah, finances, structure, supporter base, there's a whole gamut which comes in, you know, behind an NPL club in the TC.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that Graham Law was talking about yesterday, he was very excited about the size of the junior base of Cooks Hill. I can't remember the exact number that he said that they had in juniors, but it was a really big number.
They do it. They are a very strong junior club. They play out of National Park, the juniors, near the netball courts there, and they were one of my favourite fields. That was one of my favourite fields to play on when I was younger, because you knew if it rained, you'd always be on, because they're sand-based fields. So
that's right.
Great club, Cooks Hill, as this ball over the top towards Hodgson. Just couldn't get it above Fletcher Price, and Ben Cox came through and cleared it up the ground. Here's a touch from Wheeler. Schultz to Ellis. Ellis looking through for Hadlow, and Ellis, good strong tackle.
Mitchell Cook there just timed that tackle to perfection, didn't he?
Yeah, he's put out or diffused something that was potentially going to be goal time. He just showed his experience in that and just did it so calmly.
A little flick onto Hodgson. There's a little bit of magic from Dave Hodgson with the back heel. He sends Milton away. Cuts inside Wilson. And he's unable to keep it in there, Trent Milton. Overfinished the goal kick.
Corey Wilson, well defended. Well defended. Used his body well, got in front of him, and let the ball go out for a goal kick. That was very well defended by Corey.
Seven goals this year for Trent Milton in his 18 appearances. They've shared the goals around Wallsend this season. A lot of the players have got on the board. From just looking at the team they've got out there today, Trent Richards, Heath Capriotis are the only two that haven't got on the score sheet for them this season. And Heath Capriotis actually said, Dave Hodgson was talking about him and saying that he'll win the Player of the Year because he's been super consistent all season. The number 12 for Wallsend. It's Jared Noon now for Bell Swans. Go through those other scores in just a minute. We'll check this attacking raid for Bell Swans, but
and again, Cookie, well-timed tackle.
Wheeler. Yeah, those other scores, so in the 17s, Lake Macquarie 3, West Wallsend 0. In the 19s, Bell Swans 3, West Wallsend 0. And then in the 3-1 in the 19s to Bell Swans over West Wallsend, and in the 22s, Lakes 3-0 over South Cardiff, who had a very disappointing year in first grade this year, finishing 9th. Just
quickly, just going back to Bell Swan's structure here, it's very well set up. There's only 20 yards between the back line and the front line. They're playing like a 4-4-1-1, which they're condensed in the middle of the park, and look, they're making Wallsend very difficult to play through.
Yeah, totally agree with that. You can see they've got some good structure about them. You know, you train and you practice that, and that's a good testament to their coach.
They scored 48 goals. They scored 48 goals in the regular season, Bell Swans. Wallsend scored 38 against Wise. Bell Swans conceded 23 and Wallsend 30. So as you'd expect, where their positions on the ladder are, they've conceded and scored goals appropriate to that. Bell Swans scoring more and defending better than Wallsend this season.
The only other thing with Bell Swans, they're very flat at the moment. If Wallsend can play a few link-up plays through the middle of the park and slide a ball in beyond, they could be in trouble. But you know what? I'm really liking their nice high line, really compacting the space in the middle of the park.
Richard goes up to Davies, and then Shearer comes from behind him and nicks the ball. Little tug on the back of Davies. Goes back to Wilson. And Cook's there to clean up for Wallsend. Just looking at that ladder as well, Cahiba 61 goals this season in third spot. They scored 13 more than Bell Swans, who finished a point above them on the ladder. Plenty of goals from Cahiba this season. And for Lake Macquarie, they scored 80 goals this season. That's an average of 4 a game from them.
Well, Cahiba, a club that I'm close to and got a lot of good mates there, and their coach, Andre Gumprecht, has worked really, really well. In fact, technically, he's as good as they come, you know, and he would have them so well organised. It's no mistake or fluke that they've scored a lot of goals. They work on their structure and they practice and they practice and they practice. I think Gumsey calls it German engineering. But no, seriously, they've had a great season as well, Cahiba. And here's another club with a really strong junior base. You know, the numbers, you've only got to drive through that Cahiba area on a Saturday morning and it's just flooded with kids playing soccer. It's great. And
looking at those semi-final scores, a 1-1 draw at Cahiba in the first leg and then a 1-0 win over Cahiba at home for Bell Swans. It came down to the tightness of Bell Swans' defence, it seems to me, over those two legs, being able to hold them out. Cahiba conceded 29 in the regular season. Bell Swans just 23. So while they scored a lot, Cahiba, they did concede some as well. Ben Cox Goes up the ground. And it's Josh Hall away. He's got Jamie Hadlow in front of him. It is 2 against 5, so makes it tough. And there's your man, Damien. Mitch Cook's there again.
Yeah, the way he's positioned himself in defence has been superb.
Matt Ellis, he turns away from Trent Richards, goes to Shearer. Still no great chances yet, and Shearer ensures that there still are no great chances, firing that one way over the bar.
What I'd like to see from Wallsend in that situation, see how deep they were sitting in the park. If they could just progress themselves a bit further up the park, it wouldn't allow Bell Swans to have so much room through the middle and get a run through as they just did.
And just on Matt Ellis, who just combined beautifully there with Shearer for Bell Swans. Yeah, talking to Brad Paul, he said he's the fittest player in the club. He runs all day. And he's emerging talent, and he said he's very handy with a tennis racket.
I actually played against him when I played tennis back in the day, a few years ago now, since I've stopped playing competitively, but he's a very good player, Matt Ellis.
Well, we had some tennis talk last night with Andrew Digby playing against Kamal.
That's right.
There was some speculation regarding the truth of all of that. So,
no, it's true. He just said Digby said Kamal couldn't handle his first serve.
And he did referee that match very well, Andrew Digby, last night. There was some drama with the offside with Matt Swan, but we'll leave that for the moment. As over on the far side with Kyle McCorrig, Dave Hodgson.
Just while you've mentioned Kyle McCorrig, the interesting thing about him, he actually was a goalkeeper and played NPL in goals. Oh, you've got that in your stat. Okay, good.
He used to be a state league goalkeeper.
He did.
Now he played for South Cardiff and Lake Macquarie, but he's Wallsend at heart. That's what Dave Hodgson said. So,
yeah,
did he play under you at Lake Macquarie?
He did, and for me, he did a great job. And you know what? Still looks like he could go and do the same job. No dramas but yeah, shaking hands with him before early. His hands are massive, he's got a good grip on him. But anyway, there's not many players that have done that. And I'll tell you one thing about him: he will give 100% all day, the whole way, and he will never ever give up. They could be 20-0 down, and he'll still give the same amount of effort.
Now, Damien Smith, you always get. We'll just wait for this free kick. He's got us another special guest. Always bringing in the special guests here on Bar TV. It's Tim Davies. Towards the back post, and Bell Swans defensively strong once more, as they have been all season. Here it's a long-range shot from Gazzard, and now Matt Ellis on the break for Bell Swans. Looks wide for Cox, who's come forward for the Bell Swans, and Davies now on this near side. A little bit of excitement as we head towards half-time, over 33 minutes gone. We will go to Damien now, special guest.
So I've got Northern New South Wales community football manager, Broadmeadow Magic icon and legend, Peter Haynes. Peter, I'd just like to commend Northern New South Wales for the scheduling of this weekend's semi-final and grand final fixtures, having the double-header last night for the NPL, and also now a standalone game for the First Division final today.
Yeah, it's fantastic, really. It's the way it all panned out. There was a couple of scheduling challenges for the team who manage the competitions, but look, the best result possible, I think, it's worked out. Having a standalone game for the NewFM competition, it's come on leaps and bounds in the last few years, and I think just looking at the crowd today, you can see that having the standalone games really paid off as a bumper crowd in, which is fantastic.
And talking about crowds, last night game, that was one of the most entertaining and epic games I've ever been associated with. You're part of that. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, well, it probably wasn't the best game for the crowds or someone watching on Bar TV. I thought it was pretty scrappy, which was always going to be, but definitely intense, which is something you always get when you play Magic and Hamilton games. But look, we were lucky to get out of it to a certain extent, but the boys dug in really deep, and it was a result we're after, which was the main thing.
Exactly, and just finally, Edgeworth next week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think we fancy themselves. We haven't actually beaten them in the last probably 3 or 4 games, but we've had a couple of draws in that time. They've knocked us off a couple, but we hadn't beaten Hamilton in 9 games either until we went back to back the last couple of weeks. So look, I'm pretty confident that we can do a job, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Hainsey, we saw Pitto last night. We actually said he was player of the match from ours, and we thought he had a great game. But he did take a big knock. Did he say anything about that after the game? And what do you think he's going to be like for next week?
Yeah, he did take quite a heavy knock, and he's quite sore. I spoke to him this morning, but I'm not actually sure if Piddington is human. So, I think one of his legs would fall off, and he'd find a way to run around for 90 minutes. So I don't see too many doubts in terms of him playing next week. He'll be sore, for the next couple of days, but come Sunday, I think he'll be up 90, 95, 100%. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, what did he actually do? What was the injury?
He got a bit of a knock on his knee. I don't know whether it was just a fact of a bit of fatigue in there as well, or I don't think it's anything too serious. But a bit of a knock on his knee, and he felt a little bit unstable on it. So look, we took him off for the last couple of minutes and tried to protect him a bit. But it's hard enough just trying to get him off as a substitute, let alone keeping him out of a grand final.
All right, Pete, thanks very much for your time. And just back on Piddington, I have coached Piddington, and I agree. I don't think he's human either.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Cheers. Thanks, Benny.
Thanks, Pete.
Cheers.
Joel Shearer with the corner kick.
Great to get to words from Hainsey there, Smudge.
It was the near post, and
That was a great ball in.
headed away. It was almost a chance for Belsons. But really, in this first half, we haven't had many chances at all. No.
That's exactly right. But yeah, I was just saying, great to get some words in for Peter Haynes there and get his thoughts on last night. Obviously, it was a great game. He said the game looked a bit scratchy, Smudge, and a bit of turnover and whatever. But I think, for me personally, sitting in amongst that crowd, that was overshadowed by the atmosphere and the whole event and spectacle of what it was. I don't think I've seen anything in Northern football in my time like it.
Here's the ball wide for Shearer now. Whipped in a fantastic corner a minute ago. He turns towards the back post. Hall was there. So Jennings will run round and grab that one for Wallsend.
Yeah, it's been a very tight tussle, hasn't it, today? Not many
Very
chances.
tight.
Well, there's been really no clear-cut chances. It's been sort of like a game of chess, hasn't it, the first half? So just both sides sizing each other up. And there's Brad Paul calling to his back line. He wants him to push up nice and really compact the space.
And this is the things of when you practice and you can make that call, the players know exactly what he's talking about. And they'll know if they're sitting a couple of metres too deep and they get that instruction straight, there they go. They'll move and shift straight away.
And Wallsend won't want to lose this grand final because last week they went down in the WPL grand final 1-0 to Warners Bay. Would be a gut-wrenching 2 matches for them if they were to go down here as well. To Shearer, slicing that one over the sideline. And full credit to them for having 2 sides. There's not a lot of sides that have both a women's side and a side playing either in the NPL or NewFM.
And did they lose 22s as well?
20. They won the Bell Swans won the 19s, but Wallsend haven't played in the other competition that was West Wallsend in the 19s. In the 19s, it was 3-0 to Lake Macquarie over West Wallsend. 17s Lake Macquarie 3 over West Wallsend 0. 19s Bell Swans 3-1 over
It was the
West
Gunners,
Wallsend.
wasn't it? Yeah, sorry.
Over the Gunners.
The red, yeah, when I came in, I'd seen them with the red shirts.
23s Lakes 3-0 over the Gunners, yes. Very easily confused. The
Ben, I
Gunners
get
at
very
Wallsend.
easily confused.
They're almost identical kits, actually, that they're wearing today. That's why there's a sea of red on the far side. This one has gone straight to Luke Jennings.
Smudge, I was just talking to my brother, affectionately known as Animal, today. So he's the 3rd time listener on Bar TV, Bart. And he's sitting at home, probably got the barbecue open, the laptop, enjoying himself with no doubt, a stubby. You mentioned it's too tight to pay his $10 to get in. What are your thoughts this week?
Oh, I totally agree. You know what? He's too tight to actually use petrol money to drive out to Edgeworth.
Quite possibly. Beautiful day to be out in the sun.
Beautiful day here.
It's too warm for my jeans that I'm wearing. Way too warm. Should have worn shorts. I'm hoping next Sunday is going to be a nice warm one. Not too warm for the players, but warm
Hopefully
enough.
not too warm because I want to wear my scarf.
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's been a prominent feature of Bar TV's coverage of the football this year. Luke Jennings goes up, and as he has done all afternoon, takes that one above his head.
Yeah, rock solid, Luke Jennings.
You're going to say his scarf was rock solid. Yeah, no, he did very well there. Got off his line well and picked that up beautifully.
It's Capriotis. With Jake Capriotis. Looking across to Richards on this near side. Davies coming back with Schultz. Brings it wide to Corey Wilson. Goes up the line. And now Sutton. Maybe some chance here for Belswan. Sutton, he has some time to get it on his left. It wasn't a bad effort. Probably the best chance we've had all afternoon.
You know what? If he had his time again, he had Josh Hall on the left-hand side, and then he had Matt Ellis as well, Stephen on the far left-hand side. He could have played like a little link-up play there, created a 2v1 situation with the Wallsend's right fullback, and then they're on goal.
And we were talking during the week. Sorry, CT. I'll come back to that later. I think you were thinking of something.
Just the experience of Hodgson there. He absolutely milked that free kick, and he only got half touch on the back, and he dropped beautifully as a seasoned professional would get that ball in, and now them in the top third. So great bit of experience from him.
There's his almost a little flick on, and Cox will let that run to his goalkeeper and Nick Popple. But what a week. We spoke about it after the Magic Hamilton game last night, but what a week of football we've got ahead of us now. We've got Edgeworth Magic next Sunday. We've got Edgeworth versus the Wanderers on Tuesday. And I need to have a day's recovery tomorrow of no football commentary because I'm just absolutely shot after yesterday's semi-final. We're only commentating the game. This has been brought away here by Josh Sutton. He's had plenty of space. He's been afforded plenty of space in the opening half, and he's caused the Wallsend defence some problems. Across to Hadlow, who's just offside.
Yeah, I thought that was Hadlow offside there. He kept running forward, and the Wallsend backline stopped, and he ran offside.
And then we had Josh Hall on the closest side to where we are, and he was running what looked to be on and offside. He's just not right on the edge. So between him and Hadlow, the linesman's watching like a hawk, and he's obviously picked Hadlow out.
Yeah, he's quite elusive, Sutton.
2 minutes left in this opening half at Jack McLaughlin Oval at Edgeworth, the home of the Eagles, who were through to that grand final after beating Maitland yesterday 2-1 in an epic contest. I was just talking about in terms of fatigue. How fatigued are you guys after yesterday?
Well, I mean, it was long, but it was a lot of fun, like lots of fun doing that. And right to the end of the Magic Olympic game, through extra time, we were still buzzing. And in fact, it was almost like we're in a trance, the three of us. The noise and the pitch and of the whole grandstands, etc. It was just phenomenal. It was really, really good. At the end of the game, it was kind of like, wow, just sitting there, didn't even play. Like, how are the players feeling?
I don't think it's really hit me till now. I can't quite believe it. I've never had anything like it where you sort of just flat because of so much energy you just put into a couple of games of football. And we were, sitting there watching. You're nervous for both sides. What's going to happen next?
Just on that great run by Jamie Hadlow. He dropped deep off the back line, picked up the ball in space. But if he had his time again, he probably would have looked at some link-up play with some other players there rather than having a shot from 30 yards.
Yeah, and he's definitely capable of doing that. He can pick it up. I've seen him time and time again. He picks it up, drops it in, gets it back and get a strike on goal and puts himself on the edge of the boxes, as you said, instead of being 35 out.
I just want to ask you, what do you think is the major difference between this competition and the NPL? What are the differences you're noticing particularly from this game?
Yeah, well, I've coached in both divisions, so, it's probably an easy one for me to answer. I think that, in terms of players on the park, we've got little underlines under people's names who have played in the NPL on the sheet, and there's a lot of them. But you see a lot of them that those names are on the sheets. They're older, and they've been there, and they've kind of just dropped back in. I think there's players on both teams that could still play NPL. However, it's possibly not all of them at this point. Do you agree, Smudge?
Corey Wilson across the face, and Gazzard slices a clearance out to Shearer. Goes on his left, and that's sliced over just to shoot.
Just going back a sec, Mitch Cook again, a well-timed tackle right on the left-hand side on Josh Sutton. He's having a very solid game today, Mitch Cook. But there's his experience. He just knows where to be at the right time, hey, TC.
Oh, he sure does, and like that's what they're saying. I mean, if you ask Cookie now, could he play NPL? He'd probably say, no, yeah, maybe not. You know what I mean? There's just that little bit of doubt.
As that is half-time called by referee Steve Laurie, and it's all locked up at 0-0. Bell Swans and Wallsend, a very tight, cagey affair, you'd call it, in the first half. Both sides with some half chances, but slicing them wide. Damien, what were your thoughts on the first 45? I just thought at the end there is that Joel Shearer sliced that one wide. Both sides shooting, just letting them down.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it was a very cagey affair the first half. Very cagey affair. I think both sides just, yeah.
Yeah, very, very tight affair. Very, very limited chances.
Yeah, that's right. I think both sides are just sizing each other up. We're just about, we got Chris Turner here with David Hodgson.
We'll go down.
Yeah, we're joined by Dave Hodgson. Mate, it's a bright afternoon. It's sunny. It's pretty warm out there. How are you feeling, and how do you think the first half went?
Yeah, a bit too hot for us old blokes out there at the moment, mate. They seem to be a bit more eager and a bit more keen to get to the ball, but we probably can't play that bad again, so we'll be looking for a much improved performance second half.
It looked like they were playing a very high defensive line, and you guys, it's sort of almost like you're hitting a brick wall. Is there any plans to break that down?
I can't tell you live on Bar TV, CT, but look, our defence has been strong all year, and it's held up again today. They've had 5 shots from 35 yards out, and some of them are still going out in the distance. So we'll be right second half.
Just quickly, Mitchell Cook seems to be having a great game. He's a guy that's still capable of playing NPL for sure. And the crowd at the far end, they seem to be giving you a bit of a hard time. We were just saying you love it. What's your thoughts on the guys on the hill?
Mate, that's nothing different to the last 30-odd years. So, yeah, but Cookie's doing real well for us. You'll see a different side second half.
Well, thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks to Dave Hodgson and Chris Turner. We're going to take a quick break. It's halftime, NewFM Grand Final 2016 here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It's Bell Swans 0, Wallsend 0. Hello and welcome back to Jack McLaughlin Oval for the second half of the 2016 NewFM First Division Grand Final. Wallsend taking on Bell Swans this afternoon. It'll be the men in red. Wallsend kicking off. They'll be running left to right in the second half. Bell Swans in there. Canary yellow from right to left of screen. Stephen Laurie just about to get us underway. I think Damien Smith has gone downstairs to check what both coaches said at half-time, and Dave Hodson goes back and we're underway. Wallsend getting us underway in Macquarie.
You are fatigued because I'd just spoken to Hodjo just a few minutes ago whether they were going in. It was interesting to see him say that he doesn't think they can play much worse than what they did.
Yeah, I was interested to hear that actually. So here's a little run from Capriotis.
And he would have been straight in the sheds giving some instructions on how that's going to get better. So, Damien, you've just come back.
Yeah, I was talking to a very hungover Brad Paul. He was on his son's buck show in Sydney last night, so he's feeling a little bit dusty. But anyway, and he had a great time. He said very happy with the first half, very happy their defensive shape, obviously restricting Wallsend to hardly any chances. He said they just need to improve on those 1%ers, especially in the final third. Just need to be a bit more clinical.
Yeah, for me, technically, they have looked very strong and high. Belmont Swansea in their back line, which has been great, but a little bit disjointed between the midfield and the front runners.
Here's Hadlow, bringing it wide to Matt Ellis, who had a couple of chances. Well, not a couple of chances, but he made some good runs in the first half. Now Shearer has it deflect off to Ellis. Now, I'm just looking at Bell Swans' goal scorers, as Hadlow is offside. Disappointing for Bell Swans is that no player in their 15-man squad today has scored, or no one for Bell Swans this season has scored in double figures, so more than 9 goals. Man with 9 is Jamie Hadlow. Then you've got Josh Hall with 8. So it's very much shared around. Josh Sutton with 6. Luke Cook's on the bench with 4.
And you know what? That's a good thing. It's shared around. They're not relying on the one person to score the goals.
In comparison, Wallsend, they've got Dave Hodgson. He scored 17 goals for them. The next best is Trent Milton with 7, and then it goes down to 5 with Chris Gazzard. So, yeah, Bell Swans share around the goals.
So if you look at that, they're relying on David Hodgson to score a goal today, where, like you said, Bell Swans share it around. So, and that's an advantage.
Just talking about before about being maybe Bell Swans a little bit disjointed between the midfield and up front. Meaning by that is that they seem sometimes a little bit too far apart from each other, the front runners and the midfielders. And so I'd like to see them a little bit, proportionally a bit more together moving through the park than what they have been.
There's Gazzard. He was looking for Hodgson.
And what that will do is that'll give them some support, so you're not leaving your front men isolated up on the park, hitting them from 30 metres away. You can see the gap between Hadlow and the midfield. Hadlow's just dropped back in, but under normal circumstances, he's sitting a lot higher, and that gap is quite big.
And again, Mitchell Cook showing his experience, just holding the ball, knocking the ball over for Jared Noon in that left back position. And unfortunately for Jared, he couldn't get the ball to David Hodgson in the centre of the park.
I don't want to say it, but the way these two sides played in the first half and going into the start of the second half, could we see a 0 all the way through? We're going to a penalty shootout based on what you've seen so far.
Well, I mean, Capriotis and Cook have been fantastic in the middle of the back. Bell Swans defensive, 4 and 5 and 6 when you include in the middle of the park has been great. So there's no reason why we can't. We haven't seen either side overly threaten.
Well, Bell Swans have probably looked the better of the two sides. We've got a free kick going Bell Swans' way, so Laurie's just bringing it back, Stephen Laurie, for the initial foul, and Bell Swans with the free kick. But Hadlow, Hall and Sutton, 9, 10 and 11 for Bell Swans. They have been the danger trio.
Hey, just on that foul there, Steve Laurie, the referee, has to be commended. He allowed play to go on. Obviously, the Belmont Swansea player was a little bit off balance, and then he brought it back because obviously they didn't have the advantage. That was well refereed.
Yeah, sure was. And that pastel blue, the referee's shirt for your benefit, Bart, that's not pastel.
I'll do some research when I get home.
Pastel Mustang. His car, if you're just joining us in the second half, Bar TV, we're talking about his fantasy car is a Mustang.
Joel Shearer standing over the free kick. Wallsend fans trying to put him off, and Jennings, has he got a touch?
Yeah, he got a touch. Good save.
I thought the free kick was going wide there, but Jennings sprawled to his left. I thought it wasn't, and it has. He hasn't actually got a touch, Luke Jennings. I thought it was going well wide, but Jennings made it look like it was sneaking in the near post.
Well, it was a very athletic dive, wasn't it? He certainly looked like he was at full stretch and put everything into it.
There's the header there from Capriotis. Downfield, little stabbing kick over the top from Jake Capriotis.
So just on there, that's where Dave Hodgson needs to check back, get the ball in his feet. You know, you don't want to be passing balls over the top for Dave Hodgson to run onto.
No
You
way.
need to keep it into his feet.
And you know what? He doesn't want the ball there either. He wants it at his feet where he can play.
There's Trent Richards backtracking, going straight up in there. But both sides' defences have been very solid, and that's why I was saying, you know, we could well see a 0-0 scoreline at the end of the match as Hodgson goes over the top for Davies. But it'll only take one moment for either side, we know that, and Cox blazes one over towards the sideline. The only match on Bar TV football in the Newcastle competitions that has gone into extra time was the game that Chris Turner and I did last year. Here is the ball with Milton. Turning. Still with Milton. Can he cut one back? Schultz was there to clear it away.
But I was just about to say, I think there's going to be a goal in this game. I think the game's going to slowly open up. There'll be tight legs in the second half, and I'm predicting there will be a goal. Which team at the moment? I don't know.
Interesting there with Milton. He probably had an opportunity to shoot. He didn't. Held on to it, didn't. And then you think, okay, the play's gone past him and it's all over. But he did particularly well getting himself to the goal line and cutting it back. And there's the little chances that if someone was there on the spot by chance, that's that difference you're talking about, Smudge, where we're going to get a goal.
There's here with Bell Swans. It was over the top from Noon towards Ellis. And here they are again. The three at the front. Little chip ball over the top, and Jennings comes out and grabs it from the boot of Sutton, who was flying through, but it was that man. Again, the number 10, Josh Hall.
Yeah, I think if he kept it on the ground, just slipped it between the two defenders, might have been a better outcome. He tried to chip it over the top and it just skidded onto the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and it appeared to come off kind of the inside of his boot where it got a little bit too much on it for him. But, yeah, you're right, Smudge. If he slides that one on the ground, it could have been a bit handier.
Bell Swans have looked the better of the two sides in the front third, haven't they? They've broken down Wallsend on a couple of occasions. They haven't broken them down to cause a chance he'd call a golden one and say that they probably should finish. But they've looked the most dangerous.
Yeah, they've definitely got in dangerous areas and they're threatening. They've got some elusive plays there. So, yeah, I feel Bell Swans have attacked better than Wallsend so far during the game. But there's still 40 minutes to go.
The ball trickles back to Cox, who slices that one over near the Warren Mills stand here at Edgeworth. Probably recovering Warren Mills after yesterday's match against Maitland.
Well, I have to say he hasn't been spotted here today, has he?
I seen him earlier. So he said he was a little bit dusty celebrating their achievement and getting into the grand final. But they were also here working on the ground last night, having a few beers after the semi-final and working on the ground, getting it fit for today, which looks in fabulous condition.
Here's Hodgson. Little back here. Well, Hodgson got a little clip under the ribs, I think, there. And he's just down his haunches there, Dave Hodgson.
So this is where I think Wallsend can be very dangerous on set pieces, especially in the second half. They've got very experienced men, players like your Hodgson.
Yeah, Chris Gazzard will be on the ball here as he's getting himself there. He's been in this situation hundreds and hundreds of times, being free kick. So he makes a choice here. Do I float something in just beyond the wall? He's got to keep it off the keeper, and hopefully one of his guys gets something on it.
There's Gazzard going wide and easily defended by Bell Swans, and here's Schultz. Away, Tim Schultz.
We talk about a Shane Paul clone. That was Shane Paul all over.
Finally the crowd getting into the game. We've taken, what's it been, 53 minutes, and we've got a little bit of push and shove. Josh Hall in there. Tim Davies over there too. Finally a little bit of action, a little bit of drama in the match. We haven't had that for the opening part of the match. This is what you want, isn't it? You want a little bit of tension out there, the crowd getting into it. Don't want any fights, but a little bit more tension.
Smudge just rolls his eyes there. Bit of biffo, Smudge.
I think it's good. It's good for the game. Sparks, we want to lift the intensity of the game, so just gives a bit more feeling.
We saw last night the fans were getting into it. Magic and Hamilton fans, I thought we were going to have a blue. Gary Fisher was in there.
And you've seen last night, I think it was Peter Haynes in the first tackle. He nearly gets a yellow card going over the ball. So
exactly, and that sets the tone for the night, doesn't it? This one might have just sparked things up a little bit, I'm guessing. Plenty of noise.
Laurie is going to do his best to calm it all down.
Sorry, Bart. There's plenty of noise over the fence with the crowd, with the Wallsend supporters and also the Bell Swans up at the northern end.
And the Bell Swans bench are getting a little bit frustrated with that tackle.
Bang on the fence. There's the ball in from Fletcher Price. Shearer to Schultz. As Damien said in the first half, the Shane Paul clone towards the back post is Tim Schultz, the header. Not good enough from Bell Swans, and over for another goal kick for Luke Jennings. It's not going to be Luke Jennings. How often do you see this? It's going to be...
Might have a little injury or something.
Put long there by Heath Capriotis. Got a piece of that too.
The thing with Wallsend as well here, you know what? It's so congested on the far side of the park. Everyone is on the far side of the park. They need to get with. If I was Hodger, I'll be getting their right fullback.
You could throw a blanket over, couldn't you?
Exactly. Bring him out. Get him out nice and wide. Try and spread. And if you look at Bell Swans' defence, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in a space of, what, a 20 square metre block.
But on the flip side, when they pick up the ball like they do now, they really need to spread. They need to get out towards us. They need to get as high as they can and stretch them out because they've got younger, fresher legs.
Shearer with the header on. The free kick to Bell Swans.
Because Wallsend won't mind playing in smaller areas because they've got guys that are capable of pushing the ball, little triangles and 1-2s, etc.
Just on the referee, that's another good decision. He's allowed play on.
Here's Ellis with some space for Bell Swans. Diving in. Ellis goes base over apex. It was Paul Wheeler that came diving in. Here's this desire we're talking about from both sides now.
It's starting to heat up now, Bart.
It is starting to heat up. As now Chris Gazzard goes down with the captain's armband on.
Just on
Ellis gets a little bit of a shove, a little bit of push and shove there.
Just on Steve Laurie, the referee, just before he allowed play to go on. Bell Swans didn't have the advantage, and he pulled it up. That's a very good refereeing again.
Here is Capriotis flicking over the top to Ellis, who puts it back. Down Wallsend's out of the ground. Schultz now with some space. Over the top. Nice ball to Hadlow. Hadlow in towards the middle, towards Hall. Well cleared away. McCorrig, he couldn't get his head to it. Hadlow can't keep it in. Another goal kick.
And just on that, that's what Brad Paul was saying at halftime. Them 1%ers. They were in a great spot in the 18-yard box, and that 1% of the ball, the delivery just wasn't there. That's what they need to be. If they can be really clinical, they'll get a goal, Bell Swans.
So Jennings has been spared of the goal-kicking duties. It's been given to Heath Capriotis. Thumps that one, gets some distance there. Dave Hodgson with the tap on. And Hodgson again, up and over the top. Free kick goes against Wallsend. Maybe that's a ploy from Dave Hodgson there to get Capriotis to take the goal kicks, because he's getting a lot of height. Hodgson, little flick on over the top and creates a chance for
And
Wallsend.
that's what happened when he was at Hamilton Olympic. He used to do exactly the same.
Very much in the Kane Goodchild, or maybe we should say Kane Goodchild's in the Dave Hodgson mould.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? And he jumps nice and early. That's where he gets his height.
38 years of age is Dave Hodgson, so you'd expect not too many years left in him. Then he'll go to coaching, and McCorrig and Ellis getting involved in a little bit of push and shove down there once more.
It's interesting you should say that, Bart. On Friday when I was speaking to Hodjo, he said that he believes he's got another 5 full years at this level playing. You know, at 38 now, that's a very big call, but it wouldn't surprise me.
As here it is. Here is this push and shove we're talking about. McCorrick in there again. Ellis was quickly in there. Hadlow.
Wallsend becoming quite frustrated at the moment. They're having a few silly fouls.
And Shearer is going to stand over the free kick.
Kyle Mackerig's a fireman these days, Smudge, and he doesn't mind throwing the odd reel, so I wouldn't want to tangle with him. It's a big unit.
I need to say his name right, actually. You've been saying Mackerig the whole game, and I've been saying McCorrig. Mackerig.
Or just Macker, he loves it.
Or just Kyle.
There's Fletcher Price with the free kick in towards Ellis. Hodgson is now charging after it down this right side. Ben Cox. It's away from Hodgson.
The intensity's definitely lifted, hasn't it?
It has. The first half was probably pressed the slow motion button as Mackerig
That's a
Well,
silly
is he
foul
giving
by
away-
Kyle.
It
Yeah.
was Paul Wheeler, I think, that gave
Oh,
that
Paul
away,
Wheeler.
to be fair, to Cole Mackerig on that occasion.
Wheeler's
Former
pulled out
goalkeeper.
He's pulled out a few big tackles in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, Wheeler.
Yeah, and Shearer wasn't going anywhere. I didn't think there was any need to do that. Now it's in a dangerous situation for Wallsend.
So Shearer whips it in. Touch from Wheeler. Ellis goes wide towards Schultz, but now Wallsend on the break. Davies goes back to Kepriotis. Over in front of the Wallsend fans on the far side of the ground. Richards down the line to Davies. Milton's in the middle. Still Davies. He gets away from Schultz. He goes towards the near post. And Nick Popple. He wearing the hat this afternoon. Nick Popple looking into the sun. Takes a good catch. And now Shearer up the line. It is getting a little bit more entertaining.
And it's starting to open up, isn't it?
Sure
starting
is.
to open up, which is good. This is what we'd like to see.
Popple, just when he made that save, he was quick to get it back into play. So that's the intent of the sides at the moment.
It's down Kepriotis and Hall over the sideline for a Bell Swans throw. It'll be Josh Hall to take.
Just looking down the grandstand. The grandstand is quite full. It's a good crowd in today.
It's packed
You
here.
mentioned that earlier before.
And last year, this actually clashed with that last. I'll come back to that after this Bell Swans raid, as here's Wilson going over the bar with his shot. But this match clashed last year, so the Valentine Wallsend Grand Final, it was at Western last year. Wallsend won 1-0. Trent Milton with the goal. That actually clashed with the Lambton Jaffers Hamilton Olympic second semi-final. That's actually the only extra time match we've had on Bar TV.
And just looking at the Bell Swans supporters behind the goals down there, giving Luke Jennings a bit of a gobful. So they could actually play an important part in this second half.
Well, there's plenty of them, and they got their what you call canary yellow. I'm going with.
They've got mainly green, isn't it? It seems
yeah,
like
green and yellow.
I'm not sure what kit Bell Swans have been wearing, but
I like their Mexican hats.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a Mexican theme going on up there.
is this Bell Swans' home kit or their away kit? Because I know they do have a green kit, predominantly green kit as well.
Look, historically, I don't know about this year, but historically they've gone with a yellow shirt and green shorts.
And of course, the green shirt up against the red, two darkish colours, makes it a little bit more difficult. So maybe that.
Tim Schultz, he's had a good game today.
There's Schultz. And the free kick goes the way of Bell Swans. Speaking of Schultz and Shane Paul, I know I've been speaking about it a lot, but do you think Shane Paul will be brought back in for the grand final next week, missing the two semis?
You know what? Knowing Newmoff and Virgili very well, ethically, I don't think they could bring him back. He's been their best player all year, but unfortunately he's been away for the two semi-finals. There were personal commitments, not work-related, and I don't think Shane Paul would expect to start next week, even though he's been Magic's best all year.
Jared Noon into the back of Kepriotis. And Mackery getting involved there. Shane Paul, what memories he'll have. That grand final against Hamilton, 2012. Broadmeadow Magic 4, Olympic 1. He scored the first goal for Magic in that game. Damien Smith was jumping out of his chair.
David Hodson, the Wallsend coach, was crying, maybe. I'm not quite sure. But he was playing for Olympic at that time.
You know, speaking of Paul there, I mean, look, he's highly, highly unlikely to start. But you know what? He'll be on the bench and he'll be used at some point as required. And, you know, what a guy to have on the bench, Smudge. Because if he does, like if someone gets it early, you know, an early knock and you can bring someone like him off the bench, you know, it's really a good sign for Broadmeadow Magic.
Exactly. And talking to Shano, he's only played, I think, one game in about 5 weeks due to cards and things like that. So he'll be a little bit rusty, but he's a great acquisition to come off the bench. If he may start, I don't know, but highly likely, I'd say, from the bench.
Yep, sure.
Now, I was just looking at the sides that have won the NewFM First Division, or the Second Division as it was called back in the day. Milton stepping away from a couple and then going back towards Gazzard. But Bell Swans have won it twice, 1977 and 78, and Wallsend once, which was last year in 2015. So Bell Swans with a couple there.
This is where he's good.
Dave Hodgson steps away from a few, goes towards Davies, but well intercepted.
I'd like to see Belmont Swansea break nice and early here.
No changes yet from either side, which is interesting to see. Corey Wilson up and over the top with almost 25 minutes to play this afternoon. So the sun sets on Jack McLaughlin Oval and the sun sets on the NewFM Division season for 2016.
Just as I was leaving home, my neighbour Robbie Turnbull from Western was able to have a quick chat to him, and he said he's been loving watching Bar TV. And he said it's just great to be able to sit there at home and while he's doing a few odd jobs, bit of work around the house, come in, watch 5-10 minutes, put on pause, come back, watch a bit more a bit later.
Is he playing for Western again next year, Robbie Turnbull?
Unconfirmed at this stage. I actually haven't asked him the question, but to be honest, I really don't know what he's doing. But he's been at Western for a long, long time.
And Nathan Morris going to Lambton, a Western stalwart going to Lambton. Heard that during the week, so that was a big move.
Yeah, and a lot of the Western players who've been there for years, they actually live in town. They live in Newcastle as well, so closer to home for Nathan. But Robbie Turnbull, I heard a rumour, Budgie Buglers.
Buglers, as in budgie smugglers.
Here is Joel Shearer slipping over and the header from Wilson. Cleared off the line and then straight up in the air from Wheeler. Macquarie heads it away. Can Wheeler get a boot to it? Shearer gets his boot to it instead, and it deflects all the way over to this near side for Jamie Hadlow to be dispossessed by Gazzard, who puts it over for that's another corner kick.
Yeah, good chance. Good chance for Bell Swans.
Best chance of the game. Best chance of the game. There's Ellis. He gets steamrolled by Dave Hodgson. Sits back up for Hadlow. Now away, Sutton.
You know what? I'd like to see this Josh Sutton.
Sutton gets floored by Tim Davies. A little bit of a shoulder in there.
Yeah, I'd like to see Josh Sutton get a little bit more forward, get in one-on-one situations. He's got pace to burn, he's elusive, and he could be a real threat in this back end of the game.
Yeah, especially
Wilson standing over the free kick. He had that big chance before.
Especially as the legs get a bit heavier, he doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
The Wallsend fans making a racket on that far side. Headed away by Kipriotis. Hodgson, the nice touch on to Milton. Still Hodgson, he sends Milton on a run. Hodgson got cleaned up after he passed it. And he's going to bring it back, Stephen Laurie. Is that a better situation, bring it back for the free kick there or the throw down the other end of the ground?
Personally, I'd prefer the free kick. Look, they play on, nice, quick restart.
Wheeler.
And then they can set things up.
Yeah, and they can play with a bit of space and set their own space rather than be tucked down in that area.
I agree.
There's Tim Davies with the throw towards Hodgson. Corey Wilson gets in with the boot.
I'll be setting up a Chris Gazzard long throw here. If he's near, he's on this side of the pitch.
Going back a few years, he'd be sprinting over there to take this right now.
Oh, definitely.
It's Dave Hodgson. Another watchful eye of Corey Wilson there to Davies. Davies whips it in towards the middle.
Nice header.
Paul Wheeler waiting there. Here's Hall away. Over the top towards Hadlow. And the header from Kipriotis away. Ellis gets clipped. Yellow card is going to come out for Kyle Macquarie.
Yeah, on that occasion...
Probably deserved it, hey. He's made a few rash challenges.
Sure, and he didn't agree with it, but for me, look, he's tried to chest off, didn't come off, and he went in a bit too heavy, too late.
And that was about his third challenge he's been caught with.
Well, I think he's probably lucky not to have one earlier.
With Bill Swansea, see, they try to play it nice and early. That's what you want to see him to go. You want him to move the ageing Wallsend side around a little bit, especially in the back end of the game, because they've got not ageing, but they've got some veterans there. It's a big ground, like I said before.
Fletcher Price up and over the top. Hall couldn't get to it. Cleared away to Hadlow, and then Gazzard in there. Do you think if it does go into extra time, it's going to be Bell Swans with the advantage in that regard?
Yeah, but you've also got the experienced players, like we've spoken about them many times today. So, you know what? They know how to close out games. They know how to win games.
Here's Cox.
You put that so very delicately, Damien.
Ellis onto Hadlow. Gee, that was a good ball from Ellis to Jamie Hadlow, who spun and turned away from Gazzard. Gazzard on the ball towards the middle for Davies, who has some space to unlock. Can't get the ball through to Dave Hodgson on this near side. Hodgson getting in and winning the ball.
Crucial tackle.
Kipriotis into the back of Cox.
Oh,
Schultz turning.
he's had a good game, Schultz. He's been busy.
Across to Corey Wilson. probably been one of the best on the park, Tim Schultz, this afternoon, as Corey Wilson goes up and over the top. Oh, and he's caught one almost in the nether region there, did Josh Sutton. Swinging boot.
Yeah, I agree. Schultz has been great for Bell Swans. I think Mitchell Cook for Wallsend's been very solid at the bat.
Same. I think he's kept them right together to this point. I just noticed in the last 10, 15 minutes that Belmont Swansea have had better field position, generally speaking, and then now they've got another opportunity, and this one is actually within distance.
Would you be having a strike, TC, or would you be putting pressure on the keeper and just lobbing it around that 18?
I think it's a grand final, and put something on target, make him save. You never know, he might pop something out.
That's Joel Shearer again. He's had a few chances. It's on target. Jennings with the save. He crashes into the side of his net. But a fantastic save from Luke Jennings.
And great shot by Shearer. Great shot by.
And that was reminiscent of the save from Jim Fogarty yesterday.
Sure was. What a good strike, Shearer. And that's what we're just talking about. If Jennings doesn't make the perfect save that he just has, perhaps that could bounce off the post, come back out, and then on for a second chance. So it's worth a strike on goal, I think.
Now here comes the Nigerian Tiger Marcus onto the ground. He loves to listen to country music. And he's only been in Australia for 18 months, and he's already in his second grand final. And he won the first. Can he keep that record alive as he comes on the ground? Coming off is Trent Milton, the goal scorer, the hero for Wallsend last year. He's off. Won't happen again for him this year in terms of him scoring. Schultz back in towards the middle, another corner.
Just a quick question. So, Tegan Marcus, how does he like country music? He's from Nigeria. Where does that come from?
Well, Dave Hodgson said he's surely the only Nigerian who likes country music. Maybe the only person in Wallsend.
I'm calling that a stitch-up.
Well, I've had some stitch-ups from Valentine this year as they headed towards the back post. Sits up for Sutton, and getting a boot in was Kepriotis. I think I got one from Darren Sills, head coach at Valentine, that said Chris Brown, former Magic and Valentine back, his uncle or his cousin was Billy Connolly, the comedian. Got me good there, Silsey.
Oh.
Over the top. Here's Marcus. He's only just come on the ground and he's offside.
He looks a threat, Marcus, already. He's only been on the park for a minute or so. He's scored 5 goals this year.
18 matches, 5 goals, 25 years of age. HR management student at Newcastle Uni.
Yeah, obviously Hodgson's brought him on with about, 20 to go, so that they feel they could get something out of him.
Saw him coming into the ground with his earphones on, like the headsets, and he was literally bopping away, and I can't imagine it being Shania Twain.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, isn't it? Get yourself up for a game.
With the
John Williamson.
Tamworth Country
Golden
Music
guitar.
Festival. Yeah, that's it.
It's
Might
down.
have been a bit of Troy Cassatale.
Bit of Dolly Parton.
Here is the ball down in the corner for Belsons. Jared Noon. Jamie Hadlow there too. Jamie Hadlow's been impressive. He's previously played at Adamstown. His second year at Bell Swans. This needs to be retaken, and he is a lethal striker, as we found out, with speed. He's actually a tradesperson, a fitter. So Jamie Hadlow, as we mentioned, some experience with Adamstown in the past.
Just got a text message from Cameron Hughes saying Tegan Martin 100% loves country music. Hear it blaring after games as he drives away. Well, there you go. It's not a stitch-up.
They're over the sideline.
I do trust Cameron Hughes.
And Cameron Hughes was playing for Wallsend and left halfway through the year to go to Azuri. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. He did, and had an opportunity there at Highfields, and he took it. And why not?
And Cameron Hughes still should be playing NPL, to be honest.
Played for Edgeworth last year, didn't he, Cameron Hughes?
He's been a fine defender in the NPL level, so
We see a
good to see
yellow
him
card
back.
here, just given out to Josh Hall. Little clip there, so Josh Hall. Yeah, Cameron Hughes in that Edgeworth lineup last year.
I know he
Major and
suffered
minor premiers.
Yeah, I know he suffered quite a few injuries throughout his career. So, but it's good to see him back in the NPL.
And I do take that country music call with credibility because he's a musician. He's Cameron. He's a singer, songwriter, guitarist.
Here's the free kick over the top. Matt Ellis rising in towards Gazzard, who, well, as we see, a yellow card coming out for Shearer here. Well, I'm not quite sure if he meant that. He just tripped over and Gazzard... Okay, so Gazzard's going to get the yellow card here. I thought the free kick was going the other way. But
Yeah, I think it's for a high foot, I think. I haven't got a replay.
Bump there on Shearer. That's Gazzard that's going to go into the book. His yellow card. Now, Josh Hall, he's actually a physio. Very experienced.
Another intelligent physio.
Another intelligent physio. There's also another one here.
Luke Cook.
Luke Cook is on the bench.
Luke Cook used to work at John Hunter with us. So interviewed Luke, I think, late last year for a job. And now he's working down the Central Coast Health.
Here's Gazzard up and over the top looking for Dave Hodgson. He hasn't had many chances, Dave Hodgson. Great save from Popple, and he dives on the ball, and maybe that was the chance for Wallsend.
What an opportunity then. He took that. He had eyes for goals, hit it with authority, but what a great save from Popple.
And what a great first touch by David Hodgson on the outside of his foot.
Capriotis trying to put it through for Teague Marcus, but Wallsend, it's just gone up another level for them. Dave Hodgson.
This is where he's dangerous.
He gets away from a couple. He's got Marcus in the middle. He plays it to him and he skies his shot. But Wallsend have gone to another level now.
And you know what? That's what you talk about experience. Hodgson might be a little bit quiet throughout the game, but then he can just pounce.
Yeah, he did, and he pounced right then. That one touch that he took in the direction he needed to go, and the strike, I'm guessing he'd probably want that one again, but, you know, that save from Popple, gee. Hodjo hit that with really good authority, a lot of power, and it was a great save.
That's probably the clearest chance so far today.
Yeah, and you know what? Like you said, they're kind of relying on him to score a goal. That was a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and that's right, and he hasn't had many. Almost took it on that occasion, but Nick Popple was up to the task. Here's Sutton with a chance for Bell Swans now. Dodging and weaving through the box, Josh Sutton. Oh, good save from Luke Jennings. He's pumped too. But what a run from Josh Sutton, and hasn't the match come to life in the last 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's end to end, and he's just jinked them left, he jinked them right, jinked them left again, and turned him inside out. He had the Bell Swans crowd going nuts behind the goals before he hit it, and Jennings had it covered. But my gosh, you know, like we've seen it all in the last few minutes.
And you know what? It was good he stayed on his feet. I thought he was going to go down with that last challenge, but he stayed on his feet, and it was a great save.
Evading, and that Josh Sutton has been impressive, very impressive. Some NPL clubs maybe on the lookout after that. And that's the other good thing about covering this. Get to see some of these younger players. Josh Sutton, just 19 years of age. Is whipped in by Hadlow. Sits back up for Sutton again. Headed away, and Sutton just too energetic there with a bump on Capriotis, I believe. And here's a change. It's going to be Bell Swans. Number 12, it's going to be that man, Luke Cook, we spoke about, the physio.
Yeah, the intelligent physio. And he actually gets married to a fellow physio in 2 weeks as well. Tony Lee Leckie, she used to work with us as well at the John Hunter Hospital. Now currently working at Central Coast Health. So, and Luke Cook is another fine player. He's played his time at Broadmeadow Magic, West Wallsend, and a few other clubs. So he's another good player and a great acquisition for Bell Swans.
Matt Ellis comes from the ground. The 18-year-old. Here's Davies sending Marcus through. The hands went up for the offside, not given. There's Marcus still dodging away. He's got Capriotis in the middle, and he puts it into the side netting. Is there a goal? Is there a goal in the last 12 minutes?
Well, we've had chances at either end, so you'd have to say, yeah, it's certainly an opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's a goal in this game. There's been limited opportunities, but now starting to come to life, which that's what happens in grand final football.
Yeah, and the crowd will get a little bit towier as we creep towards the end of the game. They want to see the result.
Let's see. Here's the ball. I was actually going to ask you a question. I might just come back to that as Luke Cook plays it through. Hadlow. Still with Hadlow. Dodges a few. Across to Hall. Hall through for Cook, and there was Macquarie getting his boot in. A corner kick.
What I liked about Hadlow there, he came off the back four, came off the two stoppers, picked the ball up in that little pocket just there, able to turn, played the ball in. And you know what? There's a goal in this, I feel.
Yeah, and the ball he played into Hall was a good one as well. The other thing, you know, if we don't get a goal, Wallsend won't want to go into extra time. That's not their go. They want to get this done before the 90 minutes is up, because I know some legs out there that don't want to go an extra 30 minutes when you're in your 30s.
Here we go. Corner whipped in by Shearer. Not too many steps there. Jennings punches away another corner kick. That down in that corner, there's not too many steps you get to take before you have the corner. Dean Heffernan had one yesterday. Took about one step, I think it was. Here we go, Shearer. There he is right against the corner. A couple of steps and then in to take it. Here's Jennings. I think it was headed over by Makarik. Then Gazzard gets it clear. Schultz with the header back in towards the mixer. And then cleared nicely by Trent Richards over towards the Wallsend fans on that far side. A mix of Wallsend and maybe South Carter fans.
What's a sea of red, isn't it?
It is. Sea of red on that far side of the ground. Here's Hall. Over the top from Schultz. He finds Luke Cook, who just goes high towards the middle. Sutton goes down. Stephen Laurie, I don't think he's going to blow a penalty for that. Sits back up. And here's a little bump on Hadlow. It goes down and the penalty's given to Bell Swans. And Makarik is blowing up deluxe. So Stephen Laurie blows that penalty. And have a look at all these Bell Swans fans come to the fence. And Luke Jennings has the chance to make himself a hero here for Wallsend. Just try and catch the replay. Here it is. Little bump. Looked softish. We might just wait here for the penalty to be taken. It's
Look,
Fletcher Price.
You know, if you're going to make a tackle in there in these sorts of games, they're really difficult.
Here he is. Price against Jennings. Jennings with an incredible save for Wallsend. And the Wallsend fans are over the moon on the far side. But Luke Jennings does make himself a hero for the moment. Fletcher Price.
He's been good, Luke Jennings, today.
Fletcher Price, he couldn't put it away. Wasn't his best effort, was it, from the penalty spot?
Well, I think don't take anything away from the save from Jennings. That was a great save.
And here come Wallsend. Look at this. 4 against 4 it was. All right, here we go. Strap yourselves in. Jared Noon. Cross to Sutton. Cut them apart moments before Josh Sutton. And away with Wheeler. But Jennings, he went low to his left, Jennings, and he got his boot to it. So it was going close to down the middle of the goals from Fletcher Price. He was looking for his 5th of the season. He's played at South Cardiff in the NPL, and it's his first year at Bell Swans. A chance to make himself a Bell Swans legend there. Couldn't do so.
Good experience from Wheeler there. He just took a little touch inside and then forced the free kick. Just give his team a breather and get them out of their danger zone.
Here's Hodgson.
You know what? That missed penalty might give Wallsend a bit of fresh air. Eh?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna pump them up because they know that with 10 minutes to go, it's close to real big trouble and potentially game over. And now, you're right, Smudge. I can see Wallsend coming out with a lot more energy and probably some energy they need right now.
Yeah, Fletcher Price over the sideline. Did you guys feel that was going to be saved? I felt it was going to be saved. I didn't say it before, but I just felt it was going to be saved.
Attendance for today's NewFM First Division Grand Finals is 2,614.
An outstanding attendance. Outstanding for a NewFM Grand Final and outstanding from Northern to put this on a standalone day. No NPL semis.
Yeah, full credit to Northern having this on a standalone day. Definitely. 2,500, 2,614.
Capriotis.
For the second division game or the new FM.
Just towards the back post. Atiga Marcus. He can't keep it in. But what did you guys feel that penalty given? Did you think? I just felt it was going to Luke Jennings, his experience.
And the other thing is you've got all the Bell Swan supporters behind. They all rush behind the goal. So there's a lot of pressure on the kicker. And he just didn't make really good contact, did he?
No, and it's not hard to tighten up when you're going to be that for an occasion like this. So, but as I said before, don't take anything away from the save. He's hit that where he wanted to go. But Jennings, great save.
This is Cox bringing it away for Bell Swans. Up and over the top.
Just on the crowd figure, CT and I had a bet before about 10 minutes ago, a $1 bet on the crowd figure. He said 2,100, I said 2,500, so I win the dollar. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, I said 2,643, wasn't it? So that's.
Well, it's only that there's 400 West Wallsend fans have gone from this morning's early games. So.
Yeah, there's definitely not 2,600 here at the moment. A lot of people coming through the gate.
Might look for my dollar back smudge.
As here's Davies in towards the middle. Marcus was rising. It's headed away.
They're starting to threaten our Wallsend. They're starting to threaten.
Well, was that your goal? You said there's going to be a goal. That penalty saved. Do you think we're headed for extra time, or is there a late twist in the tail?
Maybe a late twist. What do you think, TC?
It's end to end. We've had chances. I can't really call it. I won't be surprised if it goes to extra time. But you know what? It's where their experienced players can stand up.
Gazzard in towards the middle. The header from Maccarig off the bar. Marcus can't get it over the line.
And it was almost right there.
How
The
big was
post
that
penalties.
for Kyle Maccarig? But heads that into the bar. He's played as a goalkeeper in the State League, and he had the chance there to win the grand final with a header. Incredible.
From this angle, that was going in too.
It was curling towards the back post. And maybe it's just fate that we may not get a goal because they've had some chances late. Here's Sutton into the box. Cuts it back towards Hadlow. Thought there was a handball there. It sits back up for Hadlow. Hadlow with a shot. Oh, it's a bullet.
Jamie
It was a bullet.
Jamie Hadlow, he's just made half a metre for himself and just ripped that one out. Keeper was beaten. Jennings was gone. Jennings was gone if that was on target, and it looked like it was only probably 30 centimetres wide.
Gee, I'll tell you what, if we do go into extra time, I'm going to lose my voice, and I think you guys will be pretty close too after yesterday.
One thing I'm going to have to do is text my wife and say I'm going to be a little bit late home.
As here down in the corner, Corey Wilson. Oi! Goes over the fence.
Gee, we've got it all going now. We've got country music singers. We've got gymnasts.
We've got penalty saves. We've got headers into the bar. People flying over fences. Michael Evers and co down there in
But
the.
one thing we haven't got is a goal.
We haven't had a goal somehow. As here is Corey Wilson. If we do have to pad, we can get Peter Haynes back in for another chat. The end of the match if we do have to go in extra time.
I might just need to get permission off my wife, remember?
Is Tim Davies. Dave Hodgson.
My wife's been on shift at the John Hunter. I haven't seen her for 2 days.
Dave Hodgson now with Shearer. Just thinking, what happens if your wife says no? What's going to happen then? We're going to be just me and CT again, like last year. The extra time match at Lambton.
It's more fun when there's someone to sledge, but don't let him go.
Corey Wilson with the throw. Less than 4 to go now in regulation time. There's Fletcher Price. Over towards the near side. Gazzard with the interception. Goes up and over the top. Running onto it is Capriotis, and Popple gets there.
What a save!
And what a ball from Chris Gazzard. You pointed, Damien, and it's exactly where he's played that ball into that channel. It was on the blind side, and he's picked him out beautifully.
Mick Popple has been very impressive. He played with Lambton Jaffers before joining Bell Swansea. He's a local junior. His first year there. 21 years of age.
Both goalkeepers have been outstanding today. That's why it's a deadlock.
Man of the match as of the moment. If we had a late winner, who would you have to go for?
Look, I'm just going to pick a name out for me. It'd be if without a late winner, it'd be Mitchell Cook.
And Mitchell Cook, he's at the back post. The number 4 will be looking for a header here. Davies gets under it towards Cook. It's balloons over. Is it another corner? No, it's a goal kick.
I think that should have been a corner.
I thought so too. I thought that was a little deflection, but to Stephen Laurie, from Stephen Laurie's angle, he probably couldn't see that.
Just on man of the match, Mitch Cook has been superb for Wallsend. He's been their best, but on the other flip side, both goalkeepers have been great. Tim Schultz for my like, the Shane Paul clone, he's been outstanding for me. And, excuse me, also Josh Sutton. He's been very dangerous. Same with Jamie Hadlow.
I thought, Josh Sutton has been brilliant for Bell Swans. He's now down the line. Charging out after it was that man Schultz. Over towards the Wallsend fans. Less than 2 to go. Corey Wilson with the throw.
Oh, nice touch.
Inside the final 90 seconds. Shearer towards the back post for Sutton.
And
How much added time were you guys thinking here?
I'd probably say 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think there's much today. We looked at 4, 5 last night, but maybe 2 minutes. I think you're right, Smudge.
Sarah Beale is the 4th official, just down on the sideline. She hasn't got one of the boards. The only time we get to see the boards in the Northern New South Wales competitions is the NPL Grand Final day. That's the only time I've seen it. Not having got the added time board here today.
It sounds like a minimum 2 or 3. That's from the inspector, Rod Allen.
Here's Luke Cook. Cross to Sutton. In towards the middle. Cleared away by Kepriotis.
Just while we're on Rod Allen, he was quick to ask for a cappuccino, Smudge, when we walked in. Did you get him one?
I
Shearer.
think he still owes us one.
Up and over the top. Hodgson gets the boot to it. Tegan Marcus is after it. Fletcher Price is also there. And Price, well, he's bamboozled by it. And Tegan Marcus, he runs towards Cox. Almost gets around Cox. He does so, Marcus. Can he do it all himself? He's brought down. Gee, it would take a tough referee. Would take a very, very big moment there to blow a penalty to Tegan Marcus. What did you think? Did you think that was a penalty?
No, I certainly didn't. I thought that he was tackled, and it didn't look to me to be a penalty.
That's right. The dying moments. We're inside stoppage time now in the second half. Still 0-0. Is it extra time? Cleared away. Nick Popple's going to come out, but Fletcher Price, ball bouncing up over his shoulder. What did you think, Smudge?
Yeah, it's half a look. You know what? I don't know.
I know. I
It
thought
could have went either way.
I thought it could have,
replay,
and I think
could've
it
went
takes
either
a
way.
tough call from a referee and a massive call to blow a penalty there.
You know what? If it was if he called a penalty, you'd say okay.
Yep.
Look, at the naked eye, if that was blown a penalty for me, it looked soft.
So over the top for Sutton.
But that's at the naked eye.
Gary Fisher just mentioned we've got 1.5 minutes of time to play.
1.5 minutes left. Is it extra time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval? Both sides have had chances. Macarig's header into the bar. We've had a penalty from Fletcher Price, saved by Luke Jennings.
Yeah, the last 30 or so minutes have been great. It's been open football, quite a few chances, missed pen.
Took us a while to get into it, but the last 30, as Damien said, entertaining stuff. There's Macarig up and over the top. Richards is after it. Both sides have only made, I think they've only made one substitution each. Matt Ellis coming off and Luke Cook coming on, and Tegan Marcus coming on to the ground as well. So for Wallsend, from what I remember, is Hadlow. Takes down Wheeler. Up and over the top towards Hodgson. Fletcher Price gets his body in front of him.
That's been a good tussle, hasn't it? Hodgson and Fletcher Price.
And now getting absolutely cleaned up was Jared Noon there. Got floored by Kepriotis, and taking off is Sutton down this near side. He's got Hall in the middle. Josh Sutton, I should say. Plays it back towards Schultz. Little back heel to Wilson towards the near post as Jennings pushed that wide again. He has, and it's full time. Extra time will be the order of the day at Jack McLaughlin this afternoon. What an entertaining last half an hour we have had.
Yeah, and Jennings again there, right at absolute death. We had players going down everywhere. We had Hadlow and Wheeler getting in a tangle. The play down, I'm not sure who it was, but gee, yeah, very entertaining first end of the game, but we're going to the first half extra time.
And just again, we said earlier in the call, Josh Sutton, you need to get him one-on-one. He's one-on-one again. He's elusive. He's a great player. If I was NPL, I'd be having a look at him.
Well, we are just going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for extra time in just a minute. So we'll be back as soon as extra time kicks off. We'll just give ourselves a rest and be back in a sec. Full time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It is Wallsend 0, Bell Swans 0. Hello and welcome back to the first period of extra time in the 2016 NewFM Grand Final this afternoon at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Bell Swans and Wallsend unable to be separated after 90 minutes. Some great chances. Kyle Mackerig with a great chance for Wallsend late on. A header from a corner going into the bar. And a penalty from Fletcher Price from Bell Swans. Saved by Luke Jennings in the Wallsend goal. So Wallsend from right to left in the second half, and Bell Swans running towards the other fields here at Jack McLaughlin Oval from left to right of screen. And it's going to be Teague Marcus and Dave Hodgson to get us underway in the second half, and we are underway. Teague Marcus goes to Hodgson.
Yeah, Bart, so I spoke to both coaches just there at the break. Just see what happens here.
Goes back to Nick Popple. Drills it low and hard.
Yes.
While Luke Jennings saved that penalty, Nick Popple's been brilliant today. But yeah, to the coaches.
Yeah, both keepers have been brilliant today. That's why it's locked and 0-0. Yeah, coaches. Brad Paul said obviously very happy the way the way they played the game. They've had a few chances. They just need to be more.
Here's Teague Marcus with a chance on goal. Nick Popple fumbles it. Marcus can't get there though.
Yeah,
we were just talking about the goalkeepers, and he's fumbled that one. Nick Popple, he gets away with it.
Always happens, doesn't it? Brett Paul obviously very happy where the boys are going. He feels like the young legs will get through in the end and they'll pinch one towards the end. He said they need to be careful of walls and set pieces. For David Hodgson, he said 3 words, or 4 or 5 words, experience will win in the end.
Okay, so he's taking the experience route, not the tired legs for the older players. I'm just having a look at this Wallsend lineup in terms of over 30 players. So Mitch Cook's 34, Chris Guzzard 35, Paul Wheeler 35, Tim Davies 30, Dave Hodgson 38.
And he's aware that obviously Bell Swans have got a lot of running still left in them. But like he said, he reckons experience in the end will count.
There's Dave Hodgson after it. Cox down in that corner and over for a goal kick. Now just looking at Bell Swans, so players over 30 for them. Joel Shearer is 31. He's the only player over 30 for them in their whole squad.
And notably, too, going through their side, they're mostly under 25.
And Wallsend are 26, 25, 25, 26, 27. So they're mainly over 25.
And I did mention at the start, Joel Nicholson, I said he wasn't in the squad today. He is. He's on the bench for Bell Swans. He scored in the match earlier in the season between these two sides in round 22 for Bell Swans. 16 years of age, Joel Nicholson.
Now,
prolific goal scorer, 34 goals in the under-19s. Played a full first-grade game against Wallsend in round 22 and scored the winning goal, as I just mentioned. So, Teague Marcus gets clipped. Stephen Laurie says no.
just on that, we've had some communication with the referee inspector who's reviewed the replays of both of those penalties that we were talking about before, and he believes the referee's got both of those decisions correct.
And just on Brad Paul, I was talking to him through the weekend. When I went down there at full time, Mick Stafford, the assistant coach, he said he's been absolutely fantastic for Bell Swans this year.
Here's Tim Davies in on goal for Wallsend. Plays into the legs of Tim Schultz, who puts it over the sideline. Wallsend having a few chances early on in the first period of extra time, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. And just on Stafford, yeah, Brad Paul said he's been outstanding as an assistant this year, and he was down there barking orders, really revving the Bell Swans boys up to finish very strong and take it home.
Here's Schultz up the line. Hall. Little touch on. Hadlow can't get to it. And Mitch Cook, he bumps away from Hadlow, who brings him down, gives away the free kick.
Like I said before, Smudge was talking about the Wallsend players in particular, and now we're talking about a look at their ages. They probably didn't want this one to go into extra time, and it'll be interesting to see how they see they go in the last sort of 10 minutes.
Richards up for the header. Do you think Bell Swans will feel like they should have won the match with that chance? The penalty saved by Luke Jennings. Do you think that'll hurt them at the moment? Still in the back of their minds as Hodgson doesn't win the free kick. Wheeler across to Gazzard.
Well, definitely they'll feel like they... Sorry, I was going to say they definitely feel like they should have scored. You know, you get a penalty, you want to put them away, and they'll be disappointed about that. But overall, it's been fairly, very even.
And one thing what Mick Stafford, Bell Swans assistant, said down there, and I heard it quite clearly, they said, be careful of free kicks outside the box, in range for Wallsend. They're dangerous on set pieces. That's one thing he said, and this is a set piece just outside the box for Wallsend.
Second on the ladder, Bell Swans against fourth on the ladder, Wallsend. That's how they finished in the regular season. Tim Davies standing next to Paul Wheeler. Two experienced heads there. Wheeler 35, Davies 30. Paul Wheeler, is he going to take it? He will wheel it straight into the wall. Works a treat on that occasion. And here's Josh Sutton. Away on the far side for Bell Swans. Goes to Shearer. Still Joel Shearer. He's got Hadlow on the inside. Plays it in towards him. Luke Jennings is out there.
Yeah, Luke Jennings put an end to that because it could have been something a little bit different. He got off his line and covered it up very well.
His position, off his line, was absolute top
yeah,
notch, wasn't
sure,
it?
It sure was, because it could have been a lot more dangerous.
Here's Luke Cook.
Had he stayed on his line, Smudge. And he's been great. I think he's had a great game today.
Both keepers.
Yeah,
we mentioned
for
that
sure.
before.
Yep.
Both keepers have been outstanding.
And the lack of substitutions that we've seen out there today, one for each side. Is that interesting for you guys? They want to stay with their first 11. It's the opposite to what we normally expect from Damien Zane, Edgeworth's coach here at Jack McLaughlin Oval.
Depending what sort of cattle you got on the bench, depending on how the game's going.
Here's a ball over the top. Chance for Bell Swans off the side of the boot, and Trent Richards will get across for Wallsend down in the shadowy corner. Jack McLaughlin Oval this afternoon. Yeah, just back to that question about...
Yeah, you know what? Both sides defensively are pretty much rock solid, haven't they? They've limited both teams' chances. So, you don't want to change anyone in the back line or even maybe in the midfield because, that's part of your defensive structure. The option is to change into striker to try and bring someone additional on, to score a goal. And that depends on what you got on the bench.
Goals in the regular season. So, Wallsend 30 conceded in 20 games. Bell Swans 23 conceded in 20 games. So, it just shows you how good their defence has been. Fletcher Price comes from the ground. Going on is the number 13, Hayden Hempson.
Just on Fletcher Price, he's been a very good player today. His battle with Hodson has been great. And this looks like a straight like for like.
Just giving them some extra legs at the back. It's Teague Marcus. From Wilson. Goes in the legs of Wheeler. Gazzard.
A substitution for Belmont Swansea. Number 4, Fletcher Price, replaced by number 13, Hayden Hempson.
Boys, I put a question to you. Is there going to be a winner in extra time?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, because sometimes you see extra time, it just dissolves into fatigue and sides just can't find a winner.
I'm going to call it yes, Smudge.
Just having a look at the last extra time grand final in this competition was in 2014. Maitland beat Valentine 3-1, and that was the year Ben Martin scored the winner. Scored a big goal yesterday for Maitland as well. Did Ben Martin. 3-1, they beat Valentine, as I mentioned. Here's a shot from Hodgson straight to Nick Popple on his left boot. Hodgson there. And I don't think we've had, in terms of penalties, just trying to find a NewFM grand final where we have had penalties. We haven't back to 1997. That's where the scores go back to. So no penalty shootouts in NewFM grand finals. Well, since it's been called NewFM, we haven't had any. Hadlow towards the near post, and it's into the side netting.
That was well defended by Heath Kepriadis. Kept him on the outside, making it very difficult for him to cross.
One thing's for sure, no one's left here that's been here this afternoon, and we're going into extra time, and everyone's here.
I will say there's a few tired legs out there. You know what? The pitch is slightly heavy. We've had rain during the week. There was games played on it yesterday. Still looks in immaculate condition. But, yeah, there's some tired legs out there.
2 weeks until this pitch gets used again for the Edgeworth Jets match. I'm pretty certain it's not getting used for any other finals of competition. So 2 weeks to recover. It's over the sideline. Here's the yellow card. It's going to be a red card. And Mitch Cook's off. He's been outstanding today. He cops the second yellow, and Dave Hodgson is blowing up at Stephen Laurie.
To be honest, it was a rash challenge, I thought. He got him from behind. He tried to win the ball. Was it a yellow card offence? CT's just looking at the replay here. But
Bell Swans fans saying goodbye to him as well down the far end. Just saying, Bell Swans fans saying goodbye to him, Mitch Cook. Here's Corey Wilson.
Yeah, it looked like a clumsy challenge.
He's going up. Cleared away.
So this
And
is
now
going to be
Shearer.
very interesting for Wallsend. They have got older legs out there and tired bodies. What do? Obviously, they probably just push the one up front.
This is where it makes it hard when you've got a player coach in terms of restructuring and that sort of stuff. Dave Hodgson got to think about it while he's playing. Restructuring with the red card and what they do at the back. It looks like they've done it pretty quickly with Mitch Cook sent off as Wheeler crossed to the side. Chris, what did you think?
I honestly think he tried to get in front of his defender, and maybe just a little bit tired. I honestly don't think there was any malice in it. It looked like he was a little bit tired. He tried to get in there early, and it wouldn't look good from the referee side.
Exactly. Whenever you slide in, there's that risk.
It
does look malice.
And you know what? It's a second yellow. Was it a yellow? Look, I honestly don't think so. But as you say, once you're starting to slide and you're tired, that can happen. So. And
the other thing is the referees might have already gave him a warning. If you do it again, we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
It could have been the case, but it didn't look like it was that there was any malice in it, or it looked like he was going for the ball. He just looked maybe as a little bit slower than that same tackle in the first half. Probably not an issue because he would have got there.
So there's a long way to go in this tie. What do you do as Bell Swans? You know what you do? You get really wide. You knock the ball around, don't you? You want to make Wallsend midfielders and the older fellas run.
Yeah.
Let them get tired. Open up the space.
It's spot on, Smudge, because what the Bell Swans do know is that they're playing against an older side. And if you're going to keep the ball and stretch them out, that's where you're going to get them. So make the pitch as big as you can. I'd like to see them really just keep a hold of the ball at back and get everyone wide and high.
Here's Josh Hall playing it through as an offside.
Yeah, they're a bit narrow for my liking at the moment. Getting nice and wide. And you know what? There's no rush to score a goal. Work Wallsend around. Make them run. Make them chase the ball. And you know what? Gaps will start to open up.
That's for sure, because that's when you can start to frustrate them. I guess the big question is, have they prepared themselves for that scenario? And if they have, can they execute it? I mean, they've got to hold possession for longer periods if they're going to do that.
Exactly. And on the reverse side, Wallsend, what they do, they tuck right in. Let Bell Swans play on the outside. Let Bell Swans have the ball, as long as they stay really compact and really tight.
Yeah, encourage small areas. Encourage it, but you don't want to get it so it's a blanket so much so the ball gets thumped over the top and you leave yourselves exposed with either Jamie Hadlow or a Josh Sutton. You don't want to get in a foot race with those guys, but you certainly want to give yourself enough room to play, but compact enough so it's difficult for Bell Swans.
Now you two guys are laughing that I brought my scarf in today. With the sun sort of setting over, the shadows coming over, it is getting a bit cooler. So, back at you.
Cool.
No, his scarf looks great, Smudge.
Here is Hadlow across to Schultz.
Bit feminine.
And Schultz cutting inside Richards. Still Schultz. Down to the line towards the back post. The only man there was Gazzard, who heads it to Wheeler.
That was a great ball in by Schultz and a great run. He's good in one-on-one situations, Schultz. He's like a Shane Paul, like we said before.
And now wide for Kepriotis into Gazzard. And nicked off him. Taken down over there. Believe it was Sutton.
Yeah, it was Sutton. He's been good today. He's very elusive. I said it before. You need to get him in one-on-one situations, nice and wide. Hey, TC.
Look, another situation with Chris Gazzard then. Was that a fraction tied with that same tackle have resulted in free kick in the first 20 minutes, half an hour of the game? I'm guessing probably not, But anyway, great opportunity for Bell Swans over the ball now.
So Shearer standing over it. Going to be the right footer towards the near post, and Luke Jennings there again. Solid all afternoon. It's the left back.
There's about 90 seconds left of the first stanza of extra time.
Free kick goes the way of Wallsend.
The shadows are getting longer, aren't they? And, if we got the next 15 minutes close to lights time, Millsy.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? This is where Wallsend can be dangerous. Set pieces.
It's Tim Davies again standing over it. You're looking for Dave Hodgson. Teague Marcus as well. Oh, he's hit the one-man wall. Josh Sutton was there to block. Down in the corner, the ball played back towards Jared Noon. who got cleaned up, and the free kick goes Belson's way now. Bit of frustration from Davies.
Yeah, I think Davies just got him slightly late and slightly behind.
Stepping away on that
Even
far
there,
side.
like if you're Bell Swans, you get your right fullback tucking right out here, don't you, CC? Right on the line, spread Wallsend, especially with a man down, and they've got older and tired legs. Wallsend be happy with this.
Look, you sure do, and your best friend Schultz there, he's also someone that could have come and created some support in that environment so you can get an overlap down this side.
And Schultz seems to come out onto this right-hand side. Luke Cook into the middle with Joel Shearer as well. Those two controlling the middle of the park. Here it is from Gazard. Little flick on from Hall on the volley Richards. No real chances since those ones we had late in the first half. Davies inside the near post. Which end would you take the penalties at if we were to go into a penalty shootout? I know it probably comes down to the referee's decision. Would you take them down the end with the crowd or the end with no one?
I'd go with the crowd. It's a grand final.
Yeah,
You'll
why
love
not?
the atmosphere.
And the crowd wants to see it. And down the other end where they can't access it, that's no fun, but we can take it down to the crowd.
Nick Popple, I hope they do if we do go into the penalty shootout. There's the ball over the top. And getting away is Hadlow. He's got Hall in the middle. He's got Schultz as well. They've only got 10 out there. A reminder of Wallsend. Mitch Cook sent off. And that is half time in extra time. So they've got to switch straight over. There's no stoppage here.
Looking at David Hodson, he's looking very tired out there.
Yeah,
That 45-year-old body's getting really tired, isn't it, TC?
Yeah, it's 49, but he'll just keep soldiering on. I've seen him like this. Actually, you know what, Smudge? Probably 7 or 8 years ago, I saw him walking like this at the end of games, and he just keeps going.
With the score still, Belmont Swansea 0, Wallsend FC 0.
Exactly right. And you know the thing is, this is where it becomes dangerous. Back end of the games.
Yeah, and you know, like you said earlier, he'll just pop up and just do something. He'll get a little rush of adrenaline when he needs to. He'll just get there, do something creative, and can really hurt you very quickly.
So does Wallsend now, they've got 15 minutes to go. Do they try? They've got a lot of experience out there. And you know what? Quite a few penalty takers quietly.
Yeah.
Do they sit in, just lock it up, or go for the win?
Look, you know what? I personally think that if they're going to get a goal, it'll probably come from the counter. They've got to look after their home. They can't come all this way and concede a goal by trying to force something. Now, if they do, then you know, good luck to them. But if it were me, I don't want to park the bus or use that term, but I do want to make sure your back four are secure. Your guys in front of them are very stable. They're not getting dragged around the place, and you've still got some shape about your defensive.
So in that first, after Mitchell Cook got sent off, they still played two up front, Hodges and Marcus. Do you drop one of them back into the midfield?
100%. And it wouldn't be Hodgson.
No, not at all.
You just leave him there, and you get your normal midfield and your normal defence back. Because what Hodjo can do, he can hold the ball up for you and let the play catch up. No worries there at all. So that's exactly what I'd be doing, and I don't know about leaving two up front.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm the same. I'm the same with you. And you know, another question: do you sit your back four quite deep, or do you push on?
I think you just got to take a midway range here. But the thing
I didn't
is,
ask you about that. I said I didn't say midway, did I?
Well, it's not. I'm not going to sit back in, because if you're going to sit back in too deep, then what you're going to do is you're going to invite them to play in your territory, and you just don't want that to happen.
Second period of extra time underway. Luke Cook across to Josh Sutton on the near side now. We need to do an interview with the man of the match coming up at the end of the match. We'll see how it all pans out, hopefully. Here's Sutton with a shot. He skies it during the break between the presentation and end of the match. Hopefully we'll be able to chat to our man of the match. But Mitch Cook, he's been sent off, which means the line goes through him on man of the match.
He's been Wallsend's best by far today. He's been outstanding at the back. Unfortunately, he got sent off.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the second period pans out.
We've still got, I mean, this is where the back end of the game, we're second half of extra time, this is where you see your character come out. This is where you see the characters come out. Crowds involved. Let's see how we pan out. Yep, you're exactly right, Smudge.
And we've got the change. So Jack Lydiard is on, the number 50 is on for Wallsend. Now, on the team sheet, his name is written on. The only name written on for Wallsend, which means he's not in their regular squad, is Lydiard. So, impressive to see him out there this afternoon. And a big chance, some young legs. The throw goes Wallsend's way. Taken by Wheeler towards Tegan Marcus. He's been good since he's come on. Lydiard on the far side. Couldn't get there. Lead over the sideline. But if Wallsend were to win this, especially before penalties, that would be impressive. But I think you've got to look at it in terms of, I know it's ugly to defend your way to a victory, but Wallsend's best chance of victory is in the shootout now. And that's what they're going to try to do, I'd say. Try and win a set piece, but I think shootout's probably their best bet. And Bell Swans, I think, try and win it now. But then if they push too far up, they give Wallsend the chance of putting one in.
And look here, Wallsend's pushing numbers forward. They're out to win this.
Yeah.
They've got two at the back.
As here is Capriotis chipping it forward. Cox gets in the way of Hempson. They're fiddling around down there. Hall tried to clear it away. And then the ball from Shearer to Sutton, who sends Hadlow on a run down the left, diving in. A great tackle from McCorrick.
There's some tight bodies there for Wallsend. Looking at Wheeler slowly getting back. Hodges still pushing up.
The Sunbreros are out in force down in the corner of the ground. Local sport at its best here. The second division football competition in Newcastle, the NewFM division. Last year's grand final winners, Wallsend, up against this year's runners-up in the minor premiership race, Bell Swans. Hadlow with a little chip over the top.
Ladies and gentlemen, just an announcement for the winning raffle ticket. It goes to James Barnes from Killingworth, the winner of a European Cup match ball. So James Barnes, the winner of the raffle. Well done, James.
Hold on to James, who won the raffle. That's not a bad prize at all.
From Killingsworth. Where's that, Bart?
Killingworth, it's out west. I actually had to do a story when I was doing some stuff for the ABC out there. As Luke Cook, what did I have to do? Interview about it's where the proposed high-speed rail station is going to be put in about 2045.
Oh, okay.
So, out west, Killingworth. As here is Gazzard winning the free kick for Wallsend.
2045, TC, you would be retired, way retired by then.
We might still be going on Bar TV by then.
I think he just means in life.
I means in life, yeah.
As here. There's the ball across to the near side and over the sideline.
Wallsend pushing on here, which is really good. Good to see him going forward.
Yeah, they've got two at the back, and they've got Sutton and Hadlow to deal with.
Here's Hodgson. Back to Gazzard. Towards the back post. Tegan Marcus with the header, and Nick Popples there with the save.
I will say Marcus he's been good today when he's come on.
Oh, look, obviously he had that country music pumping when he did walk through the front gate, and that's given him the lift he wanted.
Most of this near side of the ground. Hadlow's after it. Hadlow towards the back post. Schultz, he's short in stature. Gets up high, but Richards won the header. And Lydiard bumps away from him, but can't keep it in the field of play. Corey Wilson is going to take the throw. And Wilson gets away from Lydiard and straight to Jennings.
Yeah, keeper Jennings well positioned there, waiting for the cross.
Again, and great hands. It never, ever looked like anything but safety.
Sun has set. Jack McLaughlin. Are the lights going to come on? They haven't come on yet.
Oh, there's Schultz. Great play, wasn't it? Composed.
Luke Cooker wide. Brings it across to Sutton.
Oh.
Takes on Chris Gazzard, who won the little duel there.
Yeah, Gazzard with his experience has held his ground.
Great tackle.
Capriotis to Hodgson. Back to Jake Capriotis. And now Sutton again. Hadlow on the inside. He goes outside. Finds Jared Noon, who's crosses straight to Macquarie. And kept in by Wheeler down in the corner. Swans with the throw.
Some slow players getting up in the Wallsend team. Slowly getting themselves up off the deck. We've got Belmont, Swansea, Shearer, I think it's Shearer. Can't quite tell from here. He's stretching something out in the middle of the park.
I think Josh Hall coming off.
Huey Price is going on.
Yeah, Joel Shearer's stretching himself right out here. Maybe he's tightening right up. Not sure it's cramp. He's probably just tightening hammies and calves.
There's only one over 30 in Bell-Swans, and that's him. So just imagine what the Wallsend player's doing. Dave Hodgson, he must be feeling it right now. This one goes towards the sideline and over. Another change now. Wallsend.
Substitution for Belmont Swansea.
It's going to be Brendan Nichols coming on.
Replaced by number 14, Kyle Wilson.
Well, I mean, Shearer in the Wallsend team, he was one of the youngsters at 31.
Actually, I should say Kyle Wilson on the ground for Wallsend in the... I'll just double check that for you.
A substitution for Wallsend FC.
Brendan Nichols has come on the ground.
See Hodgson there using his experience just to get the foul. Wind the clock down a little bit.
Now over to the far side for Tim Schultz.
You know what? I'm going to call it. I think this is going to pens. What do you think, TC?
I don't know. I still think there's opportunities being opened up. I mean, Wallsend are pressing, and whilst they're having a crack at it, they're leaving some exposure at the back. Although they do have their 4 there at the moment. Great tackle in there.
So Kyle Wilson has come on. Just got that confirmed. The team sheet a little confusing. Had Michael Peachy, the backup goalkeeper, as 14. I was wondering whether they were going to bring on Michael Peachy, backup goalkeeper, to come up and play up front. So it's Kyle Wilson that's gone on.
And it looks like the lights have just come on here at Jack McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's quite dark, hasn't it?
Here is Kyle Wilson turning.
As soon as that sun went down, it went really dark, didn't it? Obviously, but...
Tegan Marcus.
No, it got really sunny.
Ben Cox gives away the free kick.
No, but...
Yeah.
I think I'm too exhausted from yesterday's game, so... Yeah.
No, it got sunny when the sun went down.
Yeah.
All good.
There's Schultz trying to get across. Ben Cox.
Oh, well played by Cox.
On the ball across past Shearer.
Great delivery as well.
And Sutton is away down this near side. Josh Sutton gets under that towards the back post, rising and unable to get his shot on target on that far side.
You know what? That was sorry to cut you off, TC. That was a great ball by Sutton. But what I like to see Sutton in this dying stages is one-on-one. He's there with Gazzard. Gazzard's very tired. Gazzard's right on the box area. I'd be going straight at Gazzard.
Just drive at him. Drive at him and make him lunge at you.
Yep.
So similar to Tim Cook, you can make mistakes. You force them into an error. If it's inside the box, it's penalty time again.
Away is Corey Wilson. Goes up towards Hadlow. It's Wilson making the run forward now. Coming across and getting involved. As Wallsend's number 18. And cleared up the ground. Brendan Nichols there. Got something on his right arm. And over towards the Wallsend fans on the far side of the ground.
The crowd's really getting into it.
There's probably even, in terms of spectators for both of us, Bell-Swans is a lot with the sombreros on the green behind the goals and all the Wallsend fans on the far side. They went down last week in the WPL Grand Final. Wallsend 1-0 to Warners Bay. They don't want to lose another one to a late Macquarie side.
Look at Wallsend here. They're like 50 yards from the ball. They're really deep. I think they're just trying to hold on.
They know that extra time's probably their best bet. Jared Noon goes long. Kyle Wilson collects the keeper and the free kick's been given, but was cleared off close to the line there by Heath Capriotis anyway. But Kyle Wilson coming to blows with Luke Jennings, and that's fair enough. The free kick going the other way. Down in as Capriotis up towards Hodgson, trying to flick it on. We're inside the final 5 minutes of action. As Schultz gets clipped by Lydiard. But, yeah, 5 minutes. It will be the last 5 minutes of action here And then it'll be penalties.
So look at, we need to start talking about man of the match.
We do.
I've got a few names I want to toss out there. Mitchell Cook has been outstanding. Obviously, he's got sent off and hasn't played the last 24, or wouldn't have played the last 25 minutes.
Comes across to Luke Cook. Finds Noon towards the middle. Boot in there from Mackerig to Hodgson. Number 99 still going strong.
For me, Bell Swans have been the better of the two sides. They've had the more clear-cut chances.
But it all changed. It's sort of like the regular season, isn't it? Going from a match situation to penalty shootout. You've got to throw it all out the window, start again.
And you know the thing is, what David Hodgson said to me at full time, he said experience will shine through in the end. Could experience shine through in the penalty shootout, Bart?
That's right. Maybe the experience for Bell Swans will shine through. Joel Shearer will net the winner. But the theatre of a penalty shootout, it's always something that's been tough to swallow for me in terms of deciding a game. But really, there's no other way, is there? You can't keep playing forever.
But just on man of the match, I just want to throw this out to you two boys. I think Timmy Schultz, the Shane Paul clone, has been outstanding for me. And I think Josh Sutton has been a real menace.
Josh Sutton, he's
has
been
superb.
impressive.
And I nearly lean towards him. What are your thoughts?
I would too at the moment. Josh Sutton comes across to Noon, takes a deflection. There's Capriotis going on the ground at the back. He's put a lot on the line this afternoon as well. Heath Capriotis. He's got some CV too. Played at Valentine Phoenix, Hamilton Olympic. Only player not to score all year for Wallsend, the centre back. Probably somewhat expected. Although goals from corners do seem to come for the centre backs with the headers.
We've just asked a few officials around here too, and they agree Sutton has probably been a standout. Yeah, there's been a few standouts today, but I think Sutton is, he's been a real menace for Wallsend. He looks dangerous every time he's on the ball. And the thing is, he's running right in the 120th minute.
I'm just wondering, he's 19 years of age, just to let everyone know, Josh Sutton, 6 goals this year in 19 matches. 3rd year in the first grade squad and is a local junior of Bell Swan. So how outstanding is that?
And what I like about him, he's very well balanced when he runs. And with the ball, he looks very comfortable. Some players don't look comfortable running with the ball. I know when TC was playing, he never looked comfortable running with the ball. But there's...
I was going to say, Brad Paul said he has the ability to open up a game. He's an excitement machine.
He's elusive.
Josh Sutton. Apprentice cabinet maker, actually. As Hodgson goes wide for Lydiard. He's got Teague Marcus in the middle. Still with Lydiard. And great tackle from Cox. Brilliant tackle.
The back line for both sides have been superb. It's 0-0, obviously. The back lines have been superb. Both goalkeepers have been superb as well.
Look, we've spoken about Bell Swans. Let's have a look at, some players in the Wallsend side. Gazard, Mackerig. I think Paul Wheeler's had a good game. Mitchell Cook, that we've mentioned, of course, he's been the standout for me. Capriotis has been good. Hodgson's been naming pretty much their whole side. Milton, look, they've had some good players, and
here's Wilson looking through. But how about the atmosphere here?
I know, it's just really there's 40 seconds left, but just on Sutton, I couldn't agree more. I think that he's been a really good player, and I know, all jokes aside, he does run really well on the ball, and he looks comfortable and natural. And cause
Hempson towards the back post. Lydiard will be there.
That was their chance. The delivery just wasn't there, was it?
And now Schultz down.
Look at Wallsend walking back. They're sitting back on their 18-yard box. The ball's, 60, 70 metres away.
10 seconds left in regulation time, in extra time. So we may have some stoppage time.
Pushing the back.
Or we may not. We may be heading to penalties. No goals. It's been surprising based on some of the chances we had late in regulation time in the second half.
But this is Route 1 now. You're just pumping it straight in the box.
Yeah, and I was going to say about Sutton before, he's looked threatening all day. And if what you don't want to do, Chris Gazard, is give him a whole lot of room, which they would keep him under close attention. And in it comes.
There's the free kick into the box. Luke Jennings will go up and grab it. The Bell Swan fans down there.
And you know what, Luke, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Luke Jennings, outstanding. Save penalty. He's been one of their best for sure.
I was just about to say exactly that.
Well, there it is, full time at Jack McLaughlin Oval this afternoon. And it's 0-0. We're going to go to penalties for the first time in the Actually,
That's the end of extra time.
we are going to penalties. Sorry, Gary Fish is trying to trick us and saying we're going to play on forever. But it is penalties. 0-0. It's the first NewFM Grand Final that has gone to penalties since being called NewFM. And that was back in, when was it changed over? 1998 it was changed over from Division 2 to First Division. So a long time, and we get the penalty shootout finally.
Yeah, we encourage Rod Allen, the inspector here who owes us a cappuccino, to go down where all the fans are. There's two ends. All the fans are sort of rushing behind the goals at the far end. That's where the atmosphere is. It looks like both groups of supporters are there, and security's all there, so it looks like we're going there. Very exciting stuff.
Now, is the crowd going to run on the field when whoever kicks the winning penalty or the save? Normally does happen. We're going to see a pitch invasion.
100%. 100%.
In fact, I'm going to leave you blokes and get amongst it.
The security, really, honestly, the security should just sort of stroll out because they're not going to do much to stop them getting on the field. There's 3 of them down there, and they're actually blocking behind the goals here. So
that's just so they don't disturb the goalkeeper.
It's interesting because normally they do allow them to stand behind the goals, but security's cordoning it all off. One side of the fans, Wallsend fans on one side, Bell Swans on the other.
So, TC, in this situation, do you want to go first penalty?
Yeah, I can't see any problem with that. Just put the pressure straight on them straight away.
100% agree.
Now here it is. 60% of sides that go first win the shootout. And this is why I think it should be like a tennis tiebreaker. It should be one side has 1, the other side has 2, then the other side. So therefore, it evens it up. It evens it up who goes first. Instead of being A, B, instead of being A, B, A, B, A, B, you go A, B, B, A, B, B, A. So therefore, each side gets a chance in front in the shootout.
What about A, B, 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 A, B, A?
And are you sure it wasn't you that was playing tennis with Kamal?
No, it wasn't me. But that's what I think. It's unfair. We've seen it. 60% of sides that go first win the shootout.
Honestly, if I was coach, I'd want to go first. Put the pressure on
Exactly.
them.
Same deal. And you know what? At this point, all jokes aside, what the coaches are doing now is going through their sides. All right, who's fit? Who's capable and who's mentally prepared and ready to take the responsibility. Because you know what? You've trained, do all your pre-season, you do everything. It all comes down to this. And I know we talk about premierships and grand finals, but I know in this country we love to win grand finals, and this is what it comes down to. So right now, you know, you can see the guys going through, all right, who's it going to be? Are we ready to go? And get your sides mentally ready.
In the law changes, you toss a coin, the captain who wins the toss gets to pick which end he wants to go to.
Really?
So there.
Liverpool versus Everton or something, you go to your home end.
Okay.
There we go. So there's the new rule from Gary Fisher. He's just told us that the new rule is, you've probably heard it, so they flip a coin and the captain gets to pick who wins the toss, which end they go to. So the referees.
I think that's a great idea. That is a great idea.
And then you get 60% chance if you win the toss to win.
Well, exactly. If they don't change that rule, I think it should be changed. Here we go. We've got the fourth official is telling the substitutions to go.
No, only starting 11 players can be on there.
Yeah,
no
that's right.
coaching staff, no substitutions can be on there. Only starting 11 players.
Yeah, and they've got to go, and they're getting a little bit of a helping hand from the Wallsend faithful down the far end, helping them off the park. Look, to be honest, the guys probably just don't know that that's actually the case, and they're just wanting to be out there to support their team. So that's
Exactly.
understandable. But the rules, that's what the rules are, and they need to be out there.
The fortunate thing for Wallsend, they've actually got their coach, who plays with them, actually out there.
Yeah. And he'll be a great helping hand for them, because what he's going to be saying right now is, all right, guys, just stay calm, stay relaxed. We need to be confident here. We've got plenty of experience in the team. We've got guys that are known penalty takers, and we're in the box seat. That's what he's going to be saying.
Okay, TC, I've seen your penalties.
Brilliant. Rocket down the middle, rip your head off. Yep.
So if you were one of the players out there, what number would you pick to take?
Oh, look, you know what? For like, if you're asking me personally,
I am.
Yeah, I love to go first, because if you're confident, you just want to get your team off to a good start.
You're not like a Ronaldo going last, taking all the glory?
No, Smudge. I know that's kind of more your role. I'd just be happy with that.
All right, so just about to get also. What's Dave Hodgson doing here? Giving them shaking hands. Good sportsmanship from him.
Yeah, normally you shake hands straight after the game as well, but
Now, Damien, you were involved in a penalty shootout in the grand final a few years ago when you played South Cardiff. I think it was about 7-6.
yes,
How do you cope with it on the bench?
you
How-
just don't look.
Just turn away,
You just turn
close your
away.
eyes.
You turn away. You look forward. That game, I can remember it really clearly. I think we should have finished the game off nice and early, like during the game, and we had a few errors which went to 2-2 or 3-3. I can't remember exactly, but you know what? You just have to have full faith in your penalty takers and your goalkeeper. And that day, Scott Carter, who plays for Adamstown, was superb for us. He made, I think, 2 crucial saves.
Well, Scott Carter's intimidating, in goals when you're staring him down. He's sort of got things covered. He's got long reach and he's got the big, bearded bushman, the Ned Kelly going on, staring you down. Looks like he wants to rip your head off and, you put it past him.
Okay, who's going to win?
Oh, well, I always go now. Now, the side that normally plays the best in normal time sometimes doesn't always get the job done in the shootout. So I'm going to go Wallsend based on that.
I'm staying with my $1 smudge on Wallsend from the beginning of the game.
I'm agreeing with you, CT. I'm
sorry,
agreeing
go.
with you.
I'm going to go to Bell Swans. The reason why, there'll be a few experienced players out there, very tired legs, and I think they'll be up. They're the experienced players. They'll be up taking the pens. So I'm going to put my money on, and they're going first, Bell Swans.
There it is, the 60% of that. Those sides that do go first. So we will find out. Luke Jennings, he's already saved one penalty this afternoon.
Yeah,
Gary Fisher's just looked up top better, and he's found out that Bell Swans is paying $1.80.
$1.80, what are Wallsend paying?
$1.40.
Gary, what's
$1.40.
your pick for the penalty shootout?
Yeah, I'll go Belmont Swansea. The stats man knows all the info, knows everything.
Well, I said Wallsend, so 60%
Here we go.
of the sides. Well, here's the first penalty, and he's put it wide. Well, there you go.
Well, the Wallsend faithful.
He texted me that right at the start, before it all started. So it's a big call, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I just got the same message from Cappers, so he's obviously enjoying the Bar TV at home,
He'll do
mate.
anything to get his name on Bar TV.
Oh, no dramas with that. Cappers.
Here we go.
Top bloke.
The penalty shootout. Trent Richards comes in and puts it in the bottom right corner. That's a huge kick from him. So it's 3-2 to Wallsend. That's 4 shots down.
You know what? The keeper moved early then, made it easy for Trent Richards.
So this is big.
Sure
he misses this. That's all over.
Yeah.
Or it gets saved. So who else? The number 7. So Dave Hodgson went first. Joel Shearer's going 5th. We know the risks of going 5th. Cristiano Ronaldo went 5th a few years ago. Portugal, I believe it was, may have been final of the Euros back in 2004, and he didn't get to take it. May have been the match. There was one match that I was trying to remember where he went last and never got to take the shot because they didn't finish.
Shearer's had a good game again today. He's led well, the captain.
Needs to put this away, Shearer, and does. Bottom left corner.
Wheeler, you know what? He's superb at penalties. He's calm.
Any relation to Pat Wheeler?
No relation. Wheeler's been a...
Matt Fox's prediction at the start.
So Matt Fox's predict 4-3. What was that? Wallsend. 4-3. It is 3-3. 3-3 in the shootout.
Last kick. You know what? If I was Wallsend players and supporters, I'd feel very confident. Wheeler is an excellent penalty take. He's been an excellent NPL player for many, many years. And you know what? I can't see him missing.
And the Bell Swans fans are making plenty of noise. What did Dave Hodgson say? He said experience is going to count in the end. Will experience count? Wheeler comes to Popple and he puts it in the bottom left corner. And Wallsend go back to back. in the NewFM division this afternoon at Jack McLaughlin Oval.
And you know what? Just sorry on that. Look at Dave Hodgson. He hasn't gone to celebrate. He knows he's been lucky today, but he's going to take the win. He's gone straight over to the Bell Swans players. That is a true champion. That is a class effort.
Yeah, class act absolutely from Hodjo. And you know what? Maybe part of that is probably couldn't run over the corner anyway. But no, class act there from Hodjo, and he's even helping players up, etc. So Wallsend have jumped the fence. They're into it, and they're on the park celebrating, and they're going to have a great celebration tonight.
Now we'll see if we can have a chat to Josh Sutton. If one of you are able to go down and grab him and bring him up, we'll see if we can have a chat to Josh Sutton, the number 11 for Bell Swans. What an incredible performance from him. But I said the side that always plays well in the match generally, in the penalty shootout, sometimes it goes amiss, and for Bell Swans today, that was the case.
Yeah, you know what? Like, both teams have battled really well all day. You know, and I think it's been fairly open and been a good game. You look, if anything, in open field play, Belmont Swansea, for me, create a few more opportunities. You know, with the send off of Mitchell, and he what he's done. You know, he's sort of put a little bit of pressure on the team, but I don't think it was anything that he meant to do particularly. So Mitchell Cook, I think he was a bit unlucky, but all in all, Wallsend ground it right out to the end, and then the penalty shootout. I thought it was almost flawless, except for the penalty of
the penalty from Teague Marcus.
Teague Marcus, thank
you.
It was the experience, it's been a long couple of days.
I know, but it was the experience, wasn't it? It was the experience in the end that made the difference. And Teague Marcus, was he 25 years of age? But you see the other guys that took the penalties. You've got Dave Hodgson taking one, Paul Wheeler. These big names.
Well, those two, you've just mentioned Wheeler and Hodgson. They're the two guys the Bell Swans crowd were really giving it to the most when they were stepping up. And both of them just took their time. Hodjo had a swagger about him. Wheeler absolutely looked like he was doing something at training there. He looked that effortless and a lot of experience. So those are the sorts of guys that really help you out in your penalty situation, because the other penalties, they look quite comfortable, apart from that one from Marcus.
Yeah, it was a tough day. We got Josh Sutton. He's going to come up and join us here on Bar TV. He's down there with Damien Smith.
Damien's got a little pen and a notepad. He's going to take his number, a bit of an agent fee smudge. That's
right. He's going to try and get it. Well, I'll tell you what. If he doesn't have NPL clubs looking at him after that performance, I think that'll be disappointing to see.
Yeah, look, he's had a great game today. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Where the real test would be if he does go and jump into the next level. When you're at training, when you're playing in games, pre-season, that's how do you shape up? And sometimes you get absolutely surprised by guys, and they'll come in and they'll do it really easily, and you could potentially do that. And then there's some other players where you think that they've got that step in them, and then they get there and they get. The passing's a little bit crisper, the marking's a little bit tighter, and they don't have that little bit of extra, maybe a metre or so that they get in a different division, and don't quite make it. So, it'd be interesting to see how he went, and definitely worth a look, I think.
And Fletcher Price, we also got a feel for him as well. That penalty had that saved by Jennings in the second half, laid on about 10 minutes ago. He'll be gutted right now.
Yeah, no doubt, because that's a huge changing moment in the game. And when you miss a penalty like that, it's a ton of pressure and, in open play. But, that's sport, and that's the way it goes. And as I said during the call, take nothing away from Jennings in the save. I thought he actually made a fantastic save.
And Josh Sutton's just about to join us. And Josh, very, very gutting at the end to lose. We're going to go. Actually, we'll just get him in front of the camera. CT's going to have a chat.
Yeah, congratulations, Josh. We've look, as the commentary team, we've selected you as a man of the match, and we thought you had a really good game. You seem to be running at players at will. Your coach said before the game that you're exciting, and you were sort of causing a lot of problems down on your left side for their defence. How did you feel like you went today?
Oh, cheers for a start, but I thought I went all right. The boys really dug in and sort of gave it all they had, and we're just a bit unlucky, but it was a good game, a bit heartbreaking, but that's how it goes, I guess. So.
And tense moments, you got to full time, it's still, a draw. You get through extra time, it's a draw, and then you go into penalties. What was the feeling in the group just before the penalties were taken?
Oh, I think everyone was pretty nervous. Like we sort of, we weren't training for it to go into penalties or anything. Like we were just hoping for the win and but so bit nervous, but everyone thought they were sort of going to be sweet, but yeah, it just didn't happen in the end. So.
Yeah, obviously the game was pretty tight throughout, and you had a great afternoon in running at plays. Some of the other boys in your team had some great performance as well. There was, Hadlow, I thought, played well up front for you guys, and your keeper did very well.
Yeah, definitely. Jamie, Popple, all the boys. Who else? Hawley had a good game. Shears, as always, he always does a good game. So yeah, it's good to see all the boys digging in.
Yeah, and Smudges.
Brad Paul, been an outstanding coach this year. Same with Mick Stafford. Your thoughts on those?
Oh yeah,
Could spectators please leave the field? If just play. Leave the field of play for the presentation.
Today.
Thank you.
He's a wizard, he's awesome old Schultz. He's a sick little player. So
yeah,
it's good.
And mate, congratulations on the year you had.
Yeah, cheers.
Unfortunately, you didn't get the result today, but you guys played fantastic. Both teams played fantastic, and go and enjoy yourself tonight.
Oh, cheers, thank you. Cheers, fellas. Thank you.
All the best.
Thanks, mate.
Yep.
Don't trip down on the stairs on the way out.
Really well.
So we're just about to go down to the presentation, David Eland, with the microphone. As he usually does at these sort of events, he instructs the spectators to leave the pitch before we start the grand final presentation. We just apologise for when the stream went down. Just to recap, so the grand final, Bell Swans going down to Wallsend. Yes, Wallsend with the victory, 4-3. Just awaiting that presentation, as we mentioned. So Wallsend back-to-back in the NewFM division. Only one goal in the last 2 seasons of the NewFM division. Wallsend winning 1-0 last year. Trent Milton with the goal this year. It was Wheeler with the penalty which sealed the deal. Paul Wheeler winning it for Wallsend. In regulation time in the second half, Fletcher Price with a penalty that was saved. Also a header from Cole Macquarie into the bar as well for Wallsend. So both sides had their chances in regulation time. Couldn't do the job. Then there was a send-off. That was a huge moment as well. Mitch Cook sent off, so he was unable to join the celebrations. Sent from the ground in added time. I should say extra time. And he was sent. So Wallsend down to 10 men for the remainder of the second period of extra time, which handed the ascendancy to Bell Swans.
But you know what, Bart? I think the call of the day is when I spoke to David Hodson. He said experience will come through. The experience of Wheeler to convert the last one. So he called it. He's like that. He's jammy with his calls, Hodjo. And he's called. And when he said it to me, he was confident. He said, my legs are, I won't say the word.
We'll just leave it.
Tired. But you know what? Experience will come through.
Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you too is NewFM division. Do you guys listen to NewFM at all? 105.3?
Oh, yeah, occasionally, yeah.
With the Novos in the morning?
Yeah, Kim, Tim and
Steve
St. John. I used to went to school with Steve.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Stephen Lineburner.
Gives me a bit of a chuckle every now and then in the morning.
Yeah, they're funny.
Oh, they are. I think they're over in Fiji at the moment, actually. Stephen.
Okay, and where are we going with this?
Stephen Kim. No, I'm just giving him a bit of a plug for the NewFM division.
And just quickly, I think the call. You said the call of the day, Smudge from Hodjo. I think the call of the weekend is from you, when you said it got dark when the sun went down.
That was good. That was good. But can we just recap while we've got some time? What a weekend we've had. We've had Saturday, the first leg of the marathon here at Edgeworth. Jack McLaughlin Oval. Maitland pushing Edgeworth all the way. In the end, Kigo Moriyasu put the goal away 2-1 in stoppage time immediately after he came on the ground. Edgeworth go through to the grand final. Then after that...
Just on that, Damien Zane, to bring him on, 90th minute. How many times has Damien Zane brought on Kigo or a substitution and it's just worked for him?
Yeah.
We were actually talking about giving Damien Zane man of the match, weren't we?
That's right, exactly. I'm trying to remember who we did give it to in the end. I think...
Aidan Bryce. He was outstanding.
That's right.
Yep.
Aidan Bryce got man of the match. And then, second leg, we went to Magic and Hamilton. If we weren't already fatigued after that, we went there. And that was an incredible battle. We see Chris Gazzard receive his child down there. He's got a little boy or a little girl? Chris Gazzard.
I think a little boy, but I'm pretty sure it's a little boy. However, I haven't got my spectacles on, so...
Yeah, back to that Magic Hamilton. What a match yesterday.
That was epic, wasn't it?
5-2 on aggregate, but it wasn't that far off being a Hamilton Edgeworth grand final.
Well, you know what? We thought the offside goal, we thought that went in. And Hamilton were celebrating. However, it was ruled offside, and Magic pounced.
Got through, James Agility. And then here, no goals, but drama all round. The quality, as we know, it's not as good as the NPL, but gee, they fought hard.
It's passion.
They fought hard out there.
Yeah, both sides were passionate for the result. And full credit to both sets of players. You know what? There was some physical challenges out there, but it was played in good spirits. TC?
Yeah, I mean, it was, but you expect grand finals to be played in a manner of, I'm going to put everything on the line. And there was some big challenges in there. Don't forget we had a scuffle over there, and things got quite heated, and the game then spiced up a bit. So, you know, I actually think that this grand final was fantastic. Hodjo, hey, we might be able to interview Hodjo from afar. Yeah, that's experience. Yep. He's saying to mark that down to experience.
He's letting us know about it. Now he wants you guys to go for a beer with him, so we've already got them up here celebrating early.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We'll go to the presentation.
And thank you very much for your attendance at our grand final day. We've had just over 2,600 people here today, which is terrific for our NewFM First Division Grand Final Day. My name's David Eland. I'm the CEO of Northern New South Wales Football, and I'm joined for our Grand Final presentation by our chairman, Mr. Bill Walker. Can we please start by giving both clubs and both sets of players a big round of applause for a great Grand Final. Nothing was left out there today. I'm sure you'd agree that it was a game befitting of a Grand Final. I just want to start with some thank yous. I want to thank the Edgeworth Football Club for being our hosts today. They have been sensational hosts. They've had a huge weekend of football here. They had games here yesterday, games today, and they're also preparing for the Westfield FFA Cup game against the Western Sydney Wanderers on Tuesday. So can you please put your hands together for Edgeworth? With everything that's going on with their club, they were absolutely sensational hosts today. Just before we get into recognising the teams, I also want to thank Northern New South Wales football staff, the operations department in particular, who are involved in putting on our premier competition. So well done to all the ops and marketing staff. I think it's also important that we recognise Lake Macquarie City FC. They had an absolutely sensational season. They were premiers in all 4 grades of the First Division. I'm sure they would have loved to be standing here right now, but we should recognise Lake Macquarie City. Put your hands together. A sensational effort by them with premiers. We're going to start with our match officials. I want to congratulate the 4 match officials that were appointed to today's grand final. It is reflective of their performance right throughout this season. It's also an opportunity to thank the assessors and also Brad Carlin and all of the volunteers from State League referees who make sure that we make as many appointments as we can throughout the season. So we're going to start by recognising our centre referee today, Stephen Laurie. Stephen was assisted today by Cameron Burns. The second assistant referee was Aaron Strickland. Very popular. And our fourth official, Sarah Beale. Once again, thank you to all of the match officials throughout the NewFM First Division this year. Now on to Bell Swans, grand finalists this year. Unlucky today, but they're a very proud club, founded in 1935, and today is their first grand final appearance for 30 years, which is a significant achievement. I'd now like to invite their captain, Joel Shearer, to say some words on behalf of the club and to assist us with the medal presentation to his team.
Firstly, I think the refs, thought you had a good game today. Kept us all under control, so thank you for that. To Gaz and Wallsend, looks like experience won the day today. So you're a good bunch of blokes and congratulations, well done. I'd like to thank the fans that turned up today, both Wallsend and the Bell Swans fans. There's still a few floating around. He's made for a good atmosphere and it was a pleasure to play in front of you guys today, so thanks for turning out today. Lastly, my boys, or our team, Bell Swans. I thought at the start of the year nobody expected us to do too much this year, and to be where we are today it's a credit to ourselves, you know. So it's been a fantastic year, and hopefully next year we can go one better. But we'll pick our heads up, we'll celebrate tonight the good year and kick on next year. Well done, boys. Just talking now. One by one, we go Timmy Schultz. Fletcher Price. Popple. Poople. Peachy. Jared Noon. Haydos. Corey Wilson. Cookie. Hawley. Big Kyle Wilson. Jamie Hadlow. Matty Ellis. Coxie. Josh Sutton. She's already got one. The coaching staff, big Mick Stafford. Paulie Matthews. Liz. Guess that one. And the coach of the year, Brad Paul.
Thank you, Joel. Once again, congratulations, Bell Swans, grand finalists this year. They were second in the premiership with 44 points. So they had a sensational season. Well done, Bell Swans. Grand final winners, NewFM First Division for 2016. Just before I invite their captain, Chris Gazzard, up, I just want to remind everyone that Wallsend FC is the oldest club in northern New South Wales, still in existence, founded in 1887. A very proud football club. And on behalf of that club, I want to invite their captain, Chris Gazzard, up to receive his medal and to help Mr. Walker with the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by saying commiserations to Bell Swans. I think you can be very proud of the performance that you guys put in. You had us under a lot of pressure for large periods, and I think it won't be long before you're back here again playing in grand finals. So well done, boys. To all the supporters here, both Bell Swans and Wallsend, you created a great atmosphere. Feels great to play in front of that, so thank you very much, all the family and friends. Match officials too, as she said. I thought you were really good, apart from sending off Cookie, Steve. No, he's had a good game, well done. And lastly to my boys, feels great to get another title for a famous old club, Mighty Devils. I'm proud to play with every single one of you. You put in a lot of great effort and we stood up when it mattered today, so congratulations, boys. I'll call out Dave Hodgson first. And also hands up to Dave, who was also coach for the second half of the season. It's a big effort. Well done, Dave. Kyle Mackeridge. Trent Milton. Do you want to say anything?
What?
Mitchell Cook. Trent Richards. Brendan Nichols. Heath Capriotis. Jake Capriotis. Tiga. Big Isaac. Young Jake Lydiard. Timmy Davies. Lukey, come on. Nick Doyle. Paul Wheeler. And a big thank you to the coaching staff and management. Gary Gazzard. And Ben Nichols. And Courtney. Come on, Court.
Cheers. Well done, mate. 2016 NewFM First Division Grand Final winners, Wallsend FC. Consecutive Grand Final winners.
So there it is for Wallsend. What a season it has been for them. Fourth place for Wallsend in the regular season. And they come through and win the grand final. Chris, an outstanding year. Just quickly a summary and then we'll leave everyone tonight.
Yeah, well, the summary is it was a grand final worthy of being one. We had close battle. Look, to be honest, it was a little bit flat in the first half. Second half, midway, it really spiced up. Then we get into the extra time. And the extra time battle is where we had the strength and the determination of Wallsend come through. And you know what? Came down to penalties, and in the end, experience did come through in the shootout. And as we're hearing right now, deserved winners, and nothing away from Belmont Swansea, but we've definitely got a great champion side here today.
The oldest club in northern New South Wales football history, as David Eland said in the presentation. We'll leave you tonight. Wallsend 4-3 over Bell Swans on penalties in the NewFM Grand Final. Thanks for joining us. Until next Sunday for the NPL Grand Final. We'll see you then.